team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope!
I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, Drew!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Wednesday. Matt, we all, it was interesting yesterday doing our show. Like that last hour, I mean, we're always bought into what we're doing here. You should always feel bought into what you're doing for a living. I think we do here on ESPN Arkansas. But it was a little difficult to kind of focus on our content in that last hour yesterday with the beginning of the World Cup match with the U.S. and Iran. And my gosh, I mean, it was really tough, Matt, for me to be able to go. I had to go pick up my son at school for what would have been the last, I guess it was the last 12 or 13 minutes of regulation time. And then I pick him up. That's right about when the extra time started, or maybe a couple of minutes before, like 88 minutes on the clock. And he's got my phone in his lap, and I am doing my absolute best to split my attention, but not create havoc on the streets with the kid in the car. But my gosh, what an event that was yesterday!
How fun, right?
That was a lot of fun. I think that's, well, fun to a point. Like, it's the same idea when you're watching a football game or whatever sporting event that you're totally invested in, and the highs and the lows. I mean, that's like, it's why you love sports reasons, but it's the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, and also the feeling of how close you might have been to the agony of a third tie. And losing to really a geopolitical arch rival and not moving on, but hey, they are moving on, and that was a thrill. That was an absolute thrill yesterday.
That goal was pretty cool by Pulisic. And he got injured, didn't return the second half, and hopefully he'll be okay. And then Sargent, he's one of our other forwards that we need if we're gonna have a chance to beat the Dutch. That he kind of sprained his knee, so hopefully he'll be okay too. So they'll need this time off to try to get healthy.
It's a lot different, when you go to from a lot of the other games that we watch, in which, normally, the last 10 minutes of a football game, you're going to get a couple of possessions. Even when you have the lead, you get an opportunity to end the game with the ball in your hands. Baseball, you get your 27 outs just like the other team does. Basketball, there's more, I think, back and forth and scoring opportunities, obviously, than there is in soccer. So, I mean, I know they went into more of a defensive shell approach in those last 20 minutes with some of those substitutions. But, man, with all the action that occurred on the American side of the field in those last 20 minutes, I think I might have lost a year or two off my life. I know Burkhalter said he lost more hair. He and I have about the same amount of hair. But so it was exciting, but my gosh, it was nerve-wracking too. Totally nerve-wracking. And it's, I think some of us might still be in the mindset that a sport you dictate, whether it's exciting or not based on the number of points or goals or runs that are scored in a game. Well, for a game that had one goal and the previous match against England, which had none, about as exciting as a sport as you can have for not a lot of scoring.
We're fun. We're fun to watch. We don't have a lot of guys that can do some 1-2s like France, like you see Mbappe and Griezmann kicking it around. We kind of got to cross the ball and play defense and crash the box. And our set piece game's been horrible. But we're gonna have to find ways to score that way. We're not really, the Brazilians, the French, Spain, Germany, they all have those type of players. So we got to play within ourselves. You got to do kind of with what you got.
Well, and now you get a few days to hopefully heal up and get yourself ready for. Well, you don't have to worry about ties any longer. Now you'll have
now it's real drama. Now penalty kicks, extra time. Think about that last. You're right, Phil. That last 7 minutes, what you're talking about. Now you got two. It's an aggregate too, so you'll have 2 15-minute halves, or quarters, or whatever you want to say.
I still hate that these things can come down to penalty shots. I really
it's so
do
awesome,
hate that.
dude.
It's like. I understand. Like, it's kind of fun with the tension and everything behind it. It would be like the college football championship coming down to, third or fourth or fifth overtime where it's just 2-point conversions. You're like, come on, is this really telling us who the best team is? But I understand why they got to do it. I understand it.
It's pressure, man. Those penalty kicks are. You should make, free throw shooters make 90. If a good one, like you should make 90%. It's like almost. If you kick the ball right, there's no way the goalie can stop it. There's no way. So it's a little mental. And you're tired, man. It's awesome theater.
Well, and it's amazing really to see. I mean, the guys in the morning rush were talking about the World Cup match. Chuck and Ty and Tommy, they're not big soccer fans at all, but they were watching it. I know Tommy couldn't because he was working during the game, but I mean, the idea of where the United States place in the world of soccer has changed in our minds in the last 10 years even. Certainly the last 20 years, it's changed dramatically. It's become accepted in this country in a way that, honestly, I kind of suspected it might not be accepted the way that it is during my lifetime. I still don't view MLS as a true major league for soccer, but I think the fan bases behind that have kind of bled into a little bit now of a feeling of American soccer that I don't remember anybody ever feeling before. And the fact that there are people like you, Matt, who wake up at 2 a.m. to watch EPL games.
Heck yeah.
It's changed. It really has changed. It would have been like even that match. I know they pushed a lot about the 1998 World Cup and the Americans losing to Iran. I gotta be honest, I don't even remember when that happened.
I don't either.
It was a little bit of a yawn. People, it's like you paid attention a little bit, but it just didn't have any of that same reverberation that yesterday's match does.
Are those?
I'm not telling you. I don't think it, Matt. I don't think it was the Americans beating Russia in the '80 Olympics. And, do you believe in miracles and all of that? But yesterday felt a little bit like the resurgence is real, and it's becoming pretty darn popular in this country.
Yeah, we're definitely the underdog with those. We talked yesterday about fashion coming back. Well, those Umbro uniforms come back. Those were funny. But our midfield is decent with McKinney there. He can play. Musa's kind of surprised me, but Sargent and Way and Pulisic, these are guys that play SEC football. Like, these are guys that play professional over there in big leagues that's not MLS. Iran didn't have anybody that plays in like what you would say a Power 5 conference. So the fact that we're getting more guys in Europe and playing SEC football, that yes, we're definitely getting better. And this team's actually the second youngest team in this World Cup. And this is really they're building for in 4 years when they come to bring the World Cup to the Americas. So that's kind of what this team is. You're hoping that you're going to have just about this same team in 4 years. So that's really they've exceeded expectations.
I've already started in my head like trying to figure out making plans for saving money for when Dallas and for when Kansas City host. I mean, you're going to have a couple of spots that are just a decent drive away from any spot in Arkansas to go watch those matches in 4 years. But of course, we are at the end of the college football regular season. We got championship games coming up Friday and Saturday. The playoff committee released their final rankings, and Tennessee's all hacked off because Alabama's a spot in front of them. The truth is Alabama really didn't have a path to the playoff as number 6. Like that's on the outside looking in, because when you get 3 undefeated teams and 2 one-loss teams ahead of Alabama and they're not playing and Ohio State is not playing, there's no way that a 2-loss Alabama team is getting into the playoffs. So it must have been a little frustrating, I think, for Saban and those Crimson Tide folks yesterday, because when you're 6th in the playoff poll the last week, you got to have a lot of things happen. I mean, a lot of things happen. But I think even if K-State were to beat TCU, I think even if Utah were to beat Southern California, at that point, Ohio State slides in. TCU gets the last seed.
Oh, Ohio State doesn't play.
Still on the outside looking in. That's right. They
don't. And Alabama's lucked out to that. I just saw. Yeah, Phil, I think you're right on, huh?
And if it's a matter of championships, which the committee says they look at when it comes to seeding the top 4, Alabama doesn't have a championship to rest their laurels on. And I just don't see how you can move the number 6 seed ahead of number 5 when neither of them play.
You can't.
Like if you can't. And honestly, even if TCU, like let's say TCU doesn't show up for some reason and K-State wins 34-0,
mm-hmm.
It's still just it's 12-1. 12-1 with a regular season championship is going to mean something, I think, to the committee, rather than, even though it's 2 close losses on the road, 2 losses.
Not only would Ohio State be in it, Phil, they'd be 3 because they want that Ohio State-Michigan. That's the matchup they would want, right? Wouldn't you want that again?
I guess. I mean, it would really matter on what Southern California does at that point. I can't imagine that Ohio State leapfrogs over Southern California if the Trojans beat Utah. But, yeah, that would be pretty interesting if they made sure to set that up. But then again, I mean, we've seen Georgia and Alabama play in the national championship game. I mean, it would be kind of neat to see Michigan and Ohio State in a national championship game. All right, here's what's coming up on halftime for the next near 3 hours. It is a Wednesday, so it's a lot of guests, plus your calls and texts, of course. We got Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation during hour number 2. Third hour, Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. We'll get into his thoughts on some of the hirings across college football. Of course, Hugh Freeze, Matt Rule. Trent Dilfer is now the head coach at Alabama Birmingham. I think he's the first Super Bowl winning quarterback to become a college football head coach. And Grant Hall is joining halftime after this, so stay with us.
Don't forget about Hog Reaction 1 hour after every Arkansas football game.
When can we talk about the final 2 minutes of the game, which took about an hour?
Bless their hearts. At least they scored with 4 seconds to go, Ruskin.
I know. Someone pointed out that hit the over. They hit the over on the Cam Little field goal, actually, because the over was 60.5. You got that. Even the Auburn fans probably couldn't care less.
Brought to you by The Party Place, with locations in Fort Smith, Rogers, and Conway.
Ride without compromise. CF Moto's brand new U-Force 1000 XL with 2 3-person bench seats to haul more rear ends as you haul butt. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma has the perfect CF Moto for any road you choose. Get some serious mud on the tires with aluminum rims, custom paint, power steering, and a 3,000-pound winch. No wonder the CF Moto is Auto Finders' best-kept dirty little secret. Ride without compromise at Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma in Roland. Visit a complete list of inventories online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra. The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
For 33 years, Manfield's Automotive Parts City Auto Parts has been trusted as your one-stop for all your vehicle needs. Get a great deal on a Superstart battery and any of the products you need for the do-it-yourself upkeep on your car or truck. When you need work done, Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts does everything from oil changes, brakes, alignments, diagnostic work, air conditioning, and more. Mansfield Automotive Parts City Auto Parts in downtown Mansfield is open 8 to 5:30 Monday through Friday and 8 to 1 on Saturdays.
From the very beginning, large landowners and homeowners have recognized the incredible value for the build quality Bad Boy mowers are known for. Everyone deserves a better finish cut, and at Alma Tractor in Alma, we invite you to compare a Bad Boy mower, pound for pound, price for price, and you'll find yourself mowing with an attitude. That's Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma, or check out almatractor.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
For my mind, I'm a free man inside, as you should hope to find. I stand before you today, how I should be, an ordinary child of man for the world to see.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
It's interesting. We get a lot of texts. I answered somebody texted the Morning Rush that had trouble understanding the offsides rule in soccer. I get somebody I follow on Twitter, I think, that might watch like a soccer match per year, trying to plead with FIFA about changing the offsides rule for logic. And his baseball takes don't really include all that much logic either. So anyway,
that's the
Grant Hall. What's that?
Oh, I was going to say that NHL game that we would play, and like the Sega, you could only play it with the offsides off. You know, it's the arcade style. Yeah.
Sega 94, NHL 94, right?
You know the one in Swingers when they're like, oh, I want to see Wayne Gretzky's head bleed for a super fan over here. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's going to make his head bleed.
95 or 94.
94 and 95,
yeah.
That's right. Those were the ones that really piqued my interest in video games, no doubt. Grant Hall with us here. Grant, you understand offsides in soccer? You know, I mean, you're not just a three major sports guy that we talk about. You know your soccer stuff, so I'm guessing you understand offsides fairly well.
I coached my daughter's soccer team when she was in grade school without really knowing the rules then. I know a little bit more now. My son, Scott, really knows a lot about it, but we watched together on Dixon Street 8 years ago, and people were packing all the places. I mean, it's really impressive. I think it's great that the scene in Kansas City that they keep showing, where downtown is packed. And that goal by Pulisic yesterday, I was thinking, Matt, and by the way, I'm impressed with your soccer knowledge.
I'm just a fan. Yeah.
No kidding. No, you might just be a fan, but you know your stuff.
I mean, that might go down in my top 10 all-time sports thrills moment when he did that. Just the way
it was cool, huh? Yeah.
He becomes. There's a real chance for him to become a real American hero now, especially if he can come back and play as he said he thinks he will on Saturday.
Yeah, he was at Dortmund. He's at Chelsea now, and he's last year he played a little more, but Tuchel was their coach, and they got a new coach now and he just. If you fall out of favor, man, they change coaches. You know how the NFL has Black Friday? They'll fire you after 3 games. They don't care.
Yeah, and it's an interesting mix. But a long time ago, Laney Van Even coached basketball at Arkansas in the early 70s. I remember him telling me one time that he thought soccer was going to really rise in this country because when you think about it, all you need is a ball. I mean, there's not a whole lot of it. So, in other words, anybody can play it, whether you kids have money or not. And it's taken a long time, but it's finally reaching a pretty good place in this country.
Well, there was a moment in the 1970s when Pele played for the New York Cosmos I was a baby basically. It's not like I was experiencing it then, but like that they had like 58,000 people, 68,000 people, a giant stadium for Cosmos games, but it didn't hook on the way that I think people expected. And truthfully, too, like the NHL, hockey is always going to lag behind the other 3 major sports. It may end up lagging behind soccer at some point. The 1980 Olympics, while it is a moment that everybody talks about as being a watershed moment in sports in this country, I don't think it led to some major surge of love for hockey either. So that is one thing. I just wonder if moments like this necessarily spur to like something becoming the next big thing. I still do think soccer is ending up going to be the next big thing. And Grant, like I have nerves about this. I'm a baseball guy, and there are parts of me that right now sees that soccer might actually be a little more popular than baseball in some cases.
Wow. Well, President Biden talked about it yesterday. I wondered if this thing, if somehow the U.S. could make it to the finals, would there be a national holiday? I don't think so at this point, but it's fun right now.
They could be. They match up against the Netherlands. I mean, Netherlands definitely are favored. The thing that we have going for us now is we have about 5 players on the team that play in the SEC football league over there. They play professional, big time soccer, and so once we can get some more, then we'll be. Hopefully, we'll be a little better. But Messi,
well, I guess
they said
yeah.
David Beckham is trying to get Messi over here at the end of his career, so that would be a good. I mean, he's still the best. I mean, Mbappe's giving him a run for his money, but Messi can do everything.
Interesting. Well, Netherlands is number 8, and USA is number 16. So I guess they're a little bit of a favorite.
They have the best defensive player, Virgil van Dijk, in the world, and then I like Rudiger too, he's Germany. But those are probably the 2 best defensive players. Yeah, so they have some real studs.
Grant, I want to get into some of the stuff going on with the Hogs here, and it's more, either game against Mizzou and a loss, and basketball team beat Troy. Women's basketball gets Troy tomorrow night, but more of the stories are about players that are leaving in football, or that we're expecting to see more, because there've only been a couple of major names that have announced that they're. I don't even think it's the portal. It's that Hazelwood said he's not going to play in the bowl game. Ricky Stromberg announced he's entering the draft. He didn't say anything about the bowl game, so I guess I'm assuming Ricky Stromberg will play in the bowl. And then the deal with Devo Davis, that he's taking time away, which has been a very kind of an odd situation. Also considering that coincides with the time that Nick Smith starts getting some minutes, and I'm assuming his minutes will grow from 6 or 7 or whatever it is the other night, and that those minutes that he gets may have ended up being some of Devo's minutes.
Well, I would expect Nick, who I understand may have had an arthroscope 3-4 weeks ago on the knee, and you can tell he's still limping a little bit, but he maybe would get 8 minutes in each half or something like that on Saturday. Devo, someone was telling me that at halftime over there of the San Diego State game, afterwards, he and Coach Muss may have gotten into it, and of course there were no writers. From the only writer in the mainland there was a guy from San Diego who wrote about the fracas the stuff afterwards. But that Devo sat at the end of the bench and if you remember at the end of the second half, guys, that's when Kamani Johnson kind of became the spiritual leader of this team, and not only did that, but had the key tip in, and then the other night, Council is the guy. I mean, I think Eric said it, and I was thinking, and he's kind of the go-to scorer on this team right now. And of course, Anthony Black played great in Maui, so you still got a lot of firepower there. But I think they would miss Devo if he didn't come back, because he can do a lot of good things for you. Yeah,
he's our best on-ball defender. He's kind of I don't know what's going on there either. I hope everybody, you get a lot of alphas in the room, and it's sometimes they butt heads. So and everybody that's played ball, you got your butt chewed before.
But Grant, you hit on something that I mean, I don't know what happened, but you could tell that something happened at halftime of that Wednesday game against San Diego State, because Devo played 17 minutes in the first half, and it wasn't that he didn't play in the second half. It was that he was motionless on the bench. He barely ever moved. And that was an amazing second half in overtime, and he was just kind of like sitting there just watching it with his head in his hands, just looked disinterested. And it's interesting how you mentioned that Kamani Johnson has sort of become, I don't remember the term you used, but he's like the emotional guy now of this team. You get two returners for this team. One of them is now taking time away, and I think that really shocks a lot of people for whatever the reason is, because Devo seems like a gym rat and a baller, and I think he is. But Kamani was the guy who was struggling to get playing time. And that second half against San Diego State might have changed his fortunes for at least the foreseeable future as far as getting on the floor.
Yeah, and even though when he wasn't playing those first two games in Maui, he was the first guy, to congratulate guys timeouts and stuff, and then now he's getting it done. He played 32 minutes, I think, the other night, which I think was a high for him at Arkansas. So they're still. It's going to be fascinating to watch what happens with this basketball team in terms of personnel and everything. I mean, golly, it's like the waiver wire in football every day. You got to see who's playing. By the way, you mentioned Stromberg. According to the Democrat Gazette today, that sources said they didn't think he would play in the bowl game. Okay. And Hazelwood either. And if that's the case, that's two big players and leaders for you. So I think Hazelwood has had the shoulder injury. He's also, I think I saw him kind of tweak a knee in practice over there the last time, and maybe that's a factor with him. But it's going to be real. Where do you guys think Arkansas is going to go? Do you have any inkling on the bowl situation?
I think it's Memphis. I think it's the Liberty Bowl. And I think it's going to be Oklahoma. I have no, information coming in here. I'm just going by what I'm reading, and the idea that I think Arkansas can sell tickets, especially when it's a close bowl like that. So I think it's either Memphis or Houston for the Texas Bowl. But something just feels, like we're crossing just barely over the Mississippi, Grant.
I'm still holding out for the Las Vegas. Someone mentioned maybe Arkansas, UCLA, and the Las Vegas Bowl, because I'm going to be out there playing golf in Arizona till the 15th. It would be an easy trip over 2 days later.
Nice.
And I did hear that Pittman wanted to play somewhere rather early in the bowl season and kind of be able to concentrate on, the transfer portal and the recruiting and all this stuff for next year. So I don't know. And I heard this morning that someone mentioned that Kendall Briles may be a possibility to go to Florida Atlantic University. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now at the University of Arkansas.
What do you think for the transfer portal? Do you if Kendall Briles was to go and you got to get an OC, is the selling point? You got probably the best quarterback returning in the SEC in KJ?
Yeah, that, there's an interesting thing going on, too, with the recruitment of Drake Lindsay at Fayetteville High School. I mean, some teams, he's visited Mississippi State and Tennessee. I think maybe Michigan may be interested in him now. And Arkansas doesn't run the kind of offense that would be conducive. So then you think, well, would Sam maybe hire more of a passing game coordinator? And I don't think so. I think Sam is still going to be the kind of coach he is, with great offensive lines and wanting to run the football. And with a quarterback who's not that fast, I don't know that would be a fit. But all of this stuff is fascinating to watch. And one more thing, guys, I don't know what your time situation is, but Phil, the Arkansas women are 8-0 and unranked. And I think no one else in the country, maybe they have now, but as of 2 days ago, no one else had won 8 games undefeated. So they're in the 28th spot. Not sure what it's going to take to get them ranked. But they got this Troy team coming in tomorrow night, and Chelsea Dungy is an assistant coach for Troy. So that's an interesting little sidelight there.
Yeah, that'll be great to see. Now, I saw Chelsea, gosh, she was at the NCAA tournament game in March. She shows up at Arkansas games, and she's going to show up on the other bench this time around, which feels weird. And it's a good thing, I think, for them that they're not ranked right now. Keep that chip on the shoulder, you know what I mean? Because they've already been playing like that. So it's a lockdown defensive team that Mike has, Grant. I don't remember saying that too often. It's not just defense; it's rebounding. It's a lot of the things that truthfully, the program has had some troubles with before that they're doing really well right now.
Yeah, I talked to Poffenbarger after the last game just briefly, and she's really come on now and scoring. I guess she's the freshman of the week this week, and that's a pretty tough lineup. I mean, you may be right, Phil. They maybe can just use it as fuel that they're not ranked.
Yeah, I would use more of worry about if you're ranked or not once it comes to tournament time. End of November, if you're not, you look at it as a positive thing because now you can just be ticked about it. Grant, we'll leave it there. Go ahead.
Well, I was just on your national championship discussion of football. I don't think Alabama's totally out of it, but some strange things would have to happen this week. But they really needed to be in that 5 spot. I agree with you, Phil, about that instead of 6. But if you have what if LSU beats Georgia? What if TCU loses and USC and so forth? But it's not beyond. Strange things could still happen.
Yeah, and it's been a crazy season already, so you can't put anything past what this sport's got going on right now. Grant, appreciate you, man. Let's do it again next Wednesday.
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, Grant Hall here on Halftime every Wednesday. And we are brought to you by WT Equipment with 8 locations serving their customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. An authorized New Holland agriculture and construction equipment dealership. WT Equipment offers equipment sales, service, and parts. So they are your source when you're in the market for compact track loaders or excavators at any one of WT Equipment's 8 locations. They got a large selection of new and pre-owned inventory, so you can visit them at any of the 8 locations or go to WTEquip.com. Phone lines are open in our next segment, 877-377-6963 on halftime. Boy, I wonder how crazy it would have to be this weekend for Bama to jump 2 spots. We'll get into that more next.
The world is always changing, and our lives change right along with it. So when you need a bigger space for that gym or remote office, a larger kitchen, or a yard to run around in, your local Weichert agent can help. And when your life changes again, and you're looking for that cozy place for just the 2 of you, your Weichert agent can help then too. Because at Weichert Realtors, we know that no matter how the world changes around you, we'll take you home. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV. Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Checking in again at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Tyler, when it comes to Bronco sports, the surrounding area dealerships will just have to show them pictures. But at Randall, you have more than just 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, you've got a bunch of them.
That's right, Jimmy. We've got 10 here in stock right now. We've got, various different colors. We've got Area 51. We've got Kodiak Brown. We've got silver. We've got black. We've got a little bit of everything here.
Cyber Orange, too.
Cyber Orange, too. All under factory warranty, too.
Yeah, they're all brand new and ready to be test-driven and taken home today. The advantage of the Bronco Sport is they're sporty looking. You get that four-wheel drive feeling, and you're going to get pretty good gas mileage as well.
That's it. It literally fits all the needs. You've got cargo space in the back. You get good fuel mileage, and it's a sporty-looking four-wheel drive ride.
There you go. All they got to do is ask for Tyler.
That's right. Ask for Tyler here at Randall Ford.
There you go. Come by and see us. We're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Happy here in hibernation, slurping on a peach, staring at the situation, key at my foot, meowing out a conversation, rocking back and forth.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
The only way I think Alabama makes it into the top four would be for TCU to just get totally blown out by K-State. I mean, totally blown out. It'd be ugly, that kind of blowout. For Southern California to lose, all they'd have to do is lose to Utah for a second time, and Southern Cal is gone. You're going to need Georgia to lose and for it to be ugly. You'd need Michigan to have an ugly loss. Any one of those three undefeated teams, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, it would need to be a devastatingly ugly, disgusting loss that nobody is predicting to get Alabama to get into the top four. And then that means they would have to probably get in along with Ohio State. I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. Bet Saracen also doesn't see some of these crazy upsets because Georgia's a 17.5-point favorite. TCU is a 2.5-point favorite over K-State. And I think even a close loss for the Horned Frogs, and they still at least have a very good case. That might depend also what happens with Southern Cal. As far as Michigan, 16.5-point favorite. So I think at least the two clear best teams right now, Georgia and Michigan, huge favorites, very good reason. I think Georgia's going to beat the ever-loving out of LSU. And I think Michigan will do the same thing to Purdue. So we got Nelson and Harrison on hold. If you want to get on, 877-377-6963 to get on with me and Matt Jones and Matt Travis. Nelson, appreciate your phone call. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, guys. Hey, happy Wednesday, guys. I'm doing good, really. Grant Hall just brought up something there with the basketball team that kind of piqued my interest. With the women's team, that is kind of strange that they're 8-0 and not even ranked, and the way that they just dismantled K-State. But what I want to know is, we're talking about Devo. What's up with Jersey, man? Sam? Well, I know you got Sam, and then you got Poffenberger, and then, you got and my girl, Michaela Daniels. I mean, anybody would want her on their team, but what's up with Jersey? I mean, K-State, she didn't even play at all, hardly.
Well, I think Jersey, for one thing, had there were obvious growing pains as a freshman.
Yeah.
And I think that some of that is still there. I think at least as an offensive player, there are moments where it feels like she might be like just a step behind everybody else.
But
in terms
Coach Neighbors said that she's going back to her original position this year, and that she would, that would make me think that she would be a little, I don't know, like she would have a better year, I guess. But I just hope she comes around. I mean, I just hope she has a good season because, I mean, she's had a lot of growing pains. You're right, and I just want to see her. But, hey, when you got Christy Carr and Sam and Michaela and Poffenberger, there ain't much left you really have to do but just play. I got one more thing, guys. With the football team, I don't see Sam changing coordinators unless one leaves. I mean, he said he's going to do it his way, and if it don't work his way, then he'll go to Hot Springs and look at the lake. So, I mean, unless one of them leaves, I don't see him changing. This last season, there was coaching things, but there was a lot of drops, and there was just a lot of issues with this team. I hope we get the right players in and go Hawks.
Nelson, thanks for the call. I think one area where, you can point to things with coaches, Matt, and, play calling and who they give playing time to and everything like that. Pardon me. I think part of it is also like the feeling that everybody showed up on the same day, ready to go, and, played their best for an entire 4 quarters, or at least until the game was out of reach. I felt like that against Ole Miss. But, man, I don't know. It was a slow starting team this year. You got uneven performances, even quarter by quarter, and coaches take responsibility for stuff like that. There were a number of times this year where Sam Pittman said, I didn't have him ready to play. And whether he was, just throwing that out there, to try to not throw his players under the bus or whatever, I think that was on display too. And the other aspect of it as well is when he talks about being out physicaled for this last month, which is just another way of saying we got pushed around, that also goes to coaching, and that's, I think, one reason why Jamil Walker was unceremoniously shown the door the day after the season ended.
Yeah, it falls. The coaches take responsibility, but I think he's right that we have to get some better players in, and situationally we have to be better That's the thing that just disappointed you, I think, on the offensive side of the ball is just situational. Got to make better decisions. And then defensive side of the ball, we were the teams like their PR game. Like it seemed like and I don't think either one of these guys forgot how to coach. And I agree with them. I think that both of them are probably they'll end up being here and hopefully they can learn and get better as well. But yeah, both of them. You got to be better. I mean, what else can you say? We're 6-6 and got to be better.
And as far as Jersey Wolfenbarger, I mean, it is quizzical because Jersey came in as a heralded recruit. I think she's incredibly talented, and I think she works hard. But she's getting, the second fewest minutes for any of the players that are in the rotation for Mike Neighbors. And, I mean, she's not a forward any longer. I don't think they want to play her at forward. I think that they might move her in there every once in a while when necessary, but she is a guard. And in order to play guard at Arkansas, you got to do something great. You got to score, which is what McMack and Sam do, and Chrissy Carr obviously is scoring too. You got to find a way to rebound. Sailor Poffenbarger isn't necessarily scoring at a high rate, but she's D'ing up and she's rebounding the ball incredibly well. And I think because of those reasons, with those players I'm mentioning, I think it's been tough for Jersey to stay on the floor. Her shooting percentage is down, and I think they got to feel like she could do something great, one thing great on the floor, whether it's score, whether it's rebound, whether it's defend. And right now there are, I think, 4 other guards that are doing not just one thing, but 2 or 3 things incredibly well. So I think she'll get her opportunity this year. It's November. It is November, and while they might remember November in football, November doesn't really mean all that much in college basketball. All right, we're stepping aside for a break and wrapping up hour number 1 in just a moment on halftime. Calls and texts come in at 877-377-6963. We've got a couple of big contests going on right now at hitthatline.com, and the top one is $15,000 to pay your rent or mortgage for up to a year. It's at hitthatline.com. You see a $15,000 sweepstakes button top of the page. Click it and enter to win free rent or mortgage now through December the 12th. So a little less than 2 weeks to get over there and do that. The winner gets $15,000 to pay your rent or mortgage for the next year. All the rules are at hitthatline.com, and it's courtesy of real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, Matt Fowler at USA Mortgage and Mountain Home, and ESPN Arkansas. JT in Hot Springs asks, if all 4 of the top 4 lose, then what happens? Well, in 3 of them have 1 loss, and Alabama still has 2. And then you kind of fight for that last one. Get into that again next.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Who's hungry, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. And this month, I'm serving up heaping helpings of deals on Rath road-ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. So right now, you could save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car, based on the price of the car you choose. It's our feast of savings, and these deals are all gravy, so if you're sick of your old ride, toss it like yesterday's leftovers. Come in today, and you can save up to $4,500. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. So pull up a chair at my feast of savings, and you can save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car. But hurry, a deal this hot will cool down fast. Only in Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Picture a can of paint. Now picture a professional painter. Now picture a can of paint from the paint store in Van Buren, perfectly applied by a professional or possibly you. Painting your house could be a pain, and people who think painting as a pain prefer professional paint and pointers from the paint store in Van Buren. The paint store has the best Richards paint and expertly picked colors specifically for you. Need a professional product or a professional? It's the paint store in Van Buren.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I need your arms around me. I need to feel your touch. I need your understanding. I need your love so much. You tell me that you love me so. You tell me that you care. But when I need you, baby, you're never there. On the phone, long distance, always through such strong resistance. First you say you're too busy. I wonder if you even miss me. Never there.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
You know, I love cake and I hate cake all at the same time. Good song to bring us back there, Matty T. Well done.
Yeah, that's a fun album.
It's too bad we don't have Clay Henry with us today, because I saw in beautiful Beltrami County, Minnesota. Looks like it might be 100, 150 miles away from the Canadian border, in the land of 10,000 lakes. And on one of those lakes, specifically, I believe this one is called Lower Red Lake. The ice kind of, you know, it's the top of the lake is frozen. That doesn't necessarily mean what's underneath it is frozen. I've never been ice fishing. Have you been ice fishing, Matt?
I have not.
Would you try ice fishing?
I'm the last time I went duck hunting, it was so cold out there that I don't have fun when I can't feel my hands. It's just like
you can't play this with me because I mean, I know you were out
running 2 miles in the cold
morning.
Water though, your hands get wet in the water.
Didn't you ever see grumpy old men when they're out ice? They got like a little shed there on the ice and a little heater, and it looks fun.
I wanted to put a fire on my ice cube.
Get away from your old lady out there on the ice. And
golf. I can't golf if it's under 40 degrees. Like if I can't feel my hands, I won't go golf. Like it's like
but you can run when it's 35 degrees outside at 6 in the morning.
I have to. Yeah, it's like
there's no two ways about it. It's good for your health. Yeah. I think ice fishing might be good for our health too. And so you know what would be good for your health? Watching those movies known as Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men. I think we're going to have to bring Halftime Homework back at some point, because those movies need to be seen.
The first movie y'all gave me was awesome. I got to watch it. I didn't even bring it back after I watched it. I told Matty T, I said, I'm going to watch.
Which movie was it?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's the one I've seen so far. I was like, I got to watch it again, and I'll give it back. Yeah.
Ghostbusters should be next for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Stand By Me needs to be on the list.
Okay.
There's
maybe ice
mandatory
fishing.
viewing.
Maybe ice fishing too, but Matt, don't be one of the 200 people that was on the ice when it broke away from what I guess they thought was still mainland, and floated out into the lake, where they had to be rescued by helicopters, by rescue boats, and by sea lions. No, I jest about that part, but I mean, could you imagine being? Could you imagine? Like, I mean, I'd imagine like the resorts or whatever that own the land next to the shore where these iced over lakes are icing over. They might have a better idea of how long they should wait before these fishermen and fisherwomen are let out there, because that seems pretty dangerous. Like, aren't they usually the signs that say don't go this far out on the ice because it's going to break? And if you fall into that water, man, it's like you're done.
That Al Gore might be onto something.
See, I've never lived in a place where like it got cold enough, where like the lakes freeze, and you can go skating on them. Up until a couple of years ago here, like the water by my apartment actually froze, and I saw somebody walking out a little bit onto it, but no way I would try that.
Yeah.
It's right here on the Beltrami County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Monday, the 28th at 11:34, an estimated 100 of individuals were stranded from the main shoreline from a large chunk of ice that broke free. And everybody was rescued. I'd imagine it might be a moment or so before they get back on the ice. Maybe wait another month and the whole thing will be a big block.
So they didn't actually fall in the water or anything. They the ice just broke off and they stayed on top of it.
Yeah, like a polar bear.
It's like something out of a cartoon.
Griezmann had his goal offside, called offsides, but he did the penguin dance the last time like this. There you go.
Nobody does the penguin dance in any sport outside of soccer.
I do that if you forget to bring toilet paper into the bathroom and you have to go to the closet to get it.
I don't have anything to add to that, except the phone number on halftime, 877-377-6963, and that we're moving into the second hour of halftime, and I just can't get the thought of Maddie walking like a penguin during this commercial break out of my mind. We'll be right back.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Whether you're opening your first checking account, purchasing your first home, saving for your first big vacation, or opening a new business, First Star Bank offers hometown service with the latest in digital banking technology. Our local team makes banking fast, convenient, and easy. From simple everyday banking to helping you fulfill your dreams, our team is here to guide you every step of the way. First Star Bank. We'll be there through all your firsts. Learn more at firststar.bank or stop by one of our local branches today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source, LLC. No problem.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny and cooler. Our high this afternoon in the mid to upper 40s. We will see clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. And overnight low will drop down upper 20s to low 30s. Thursday, partly to mostly sunny sky. Our high right around 50 degrees. And could see some wet weather as we head through Friday. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Proceed. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
It's what I always listen to.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Rock on three! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, beautiful!
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, into the second hour of halftime on this glorious Wednesday, which means we are headed towards the weekend, thank goodness. Good to hear. Calls and texts coming in on halftime at 877-377-6963. Nobody has declared for the transfer portal or for the draft since we've been on the air. I don't think anybody for Arkansas has done any of that this morning either. Yesterday, Ricky Stromberg, no surprise, heading into the NFL draft. I had missed in the Democrat whether or not they said that means he would play in the bowl game or not. If he doesn't, Bo Limmer is going to be your center, and probably is your center next year. I know Sam Pittman has talked about giving him the opportunity to play that position. Says that'll be this position moving forward, maybe into the professional ranks. So, but that means you're going to shuffle things around on the offensive line, and you're already going to be looking for another receiver to step into Jaden Hazelwood's role. We're still waiting word on Matt Landers, and still waiting word on KJ Jefferson. Speaking of quarterbacks, I don't know if I necessarily was taken aback by Trent Dilfer being hired as the Alabama Birmingham head coach, because he had coached at Lipscomb Academy in Tennessee for the last few years. I guess it's kind of rare to see somebody go from high school straight to college, but Deion did too, didn't he?
Well, the last I saw him, he was an analyst on ESPN, and he was one of my favorite. That's years ago, but he was that quarterback mind, the way he sees the game, and he was. I mean, look, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but he's kind of like a Jim Harbaugh, like a Michigan's coach. Like, they were quarterbacks, but they weren't the best, But they were awesome. They're amazing, NFL quarterbacks, but they were never really that elite level quarterback.
So, Dilfer won Super Bowl 35.
That defense, yeah, he just didn't mess it up.
With Baltimore. Remember, he was the top overall pick. I forget what year
they
draft
beat the Giants.
Yeah, top overall pick of the draft.
That defense,
and a Super Bowl championship.
We all remember that's.
Oh man,
them and Tampa Bay. Those are the last two really just amazing that you remember from that time frame, that era of football. Yeah,
I don't remember what Dilfer's numbers were from that Super Bowl,
pedestrian.
He didn't have to really worry about all that much with that defense.
Just don't
Ray
mess it
Lewis
up.
Was the MVP of the Super Bowl in that game. But I think he's the only Super Bowl winning quarterback to take a head coaching job. Actually, that's wrong. That's wrong. I'm looking through the list of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Doug Williams, who was the first black man to win a Super Bowl
for the Redskins.
With the Redskins,
Yeah.
That's right. And he had, I forget how many years he was the head coach at Grambling. So
number 17.
That would make Dill for the second one. And I guess I kept thinking that at some point Peyton Manning would go into coaching, but I think by now he's a media guy. He's a personality. I don't know if he's going to be a coach. And, I mean, Elway, I guess he doesn't own the team anymore. But he had ownership stake in the Broncos. I don't know if he still does after it's been sold to I think Rob Walton was his name, right? So yeah, I mean that's kind of interesting because Dilfer was. I mean, really, when you look through the list of the Super Bowl of the quarterbacks who won Super Bowls, he's the. I don't mean to put it in these terms because he was a good NFL quarterback, but he might have been. One of the worst of those Super Bowl winning quarterbacks.
That's okay. Brad Johnson with Tampa Bay, like we were talking about, he was considered. He wore 2 arm sleeves, just looking kind of dorky out there, and he had that awesome defense too. And ain't nothing wrong with being the worst the least of the champions. You win Augusta, you got that green jacket. Greg Norman never got that green. Once you get in there, you can still have the highest score. You're still in the club.
A ring is a ring, right?
That's right.
It doesn't matter how you got it.
That's right.
Or what it was that took to get there. But it's interesting to see him get this job as the head coach. And I really wonder, how many Auburn people really thought, or how many of us really thought that Cadillac Williams was actually going to be hired as the head coach for Auburn football. It wasn't going to happen.
They're handling it the right way, not letting him leave, right? It'd be weird. He's a former player there that should have. I mean, they won a national title. I don't think he won the Heisman, but he's it's good to have former players there that bleed. He bleeds Auburn, and it's like anytime you talk about a Barry Lunny Jr. or something that anytime you have former players that bleed that Arkansas red, it's good to have. I think Sam Pittman does. I think he's an Arkansas guy. And so that's I think that goes a long way. Coach Nutt was that way, and so I think it helps the program when you have a guy like that.
Yeah, and I think. I remember seeing Carnell Williams started his coaching career at Henderson State, and I think he was a grad assistant. This was after his NFL career, obviously. And it's not to say he didn't do a really good job as the interim head coach, but I think it's pretty rare to see the interim head coach take over as the head coach if he hasn't had head coaching experience.
Wasn't that
Edo had coaching experience, and he moved into that role. And I hate to bring the name up, but John L. Smith, he was never the full-time head coach for good reason after that first year, but he got a chance to audition as the interim head coach and had been the head coach at Michigan State before. But it's just rare. I remember, Matt, we had a lot of fans during the coaching search after Chad Morris that wanted to see Barry Lunny Jr. become the head coach because they had kind of played hard for him for those last couple of games, but he'd never been a head coach before. And I think at some point he will be. And I think Carnell Williams will be a head coach, maybe at Auburn at some point. But it's such a big job. It's just such a big job. 1 month doesn't necessarily tell you, what it's going to be like, especially when you've only been a coach for a handful of years. I think with Sam Pittman, it's a different situation. He'd had 30 years behind him, and I think he'd had some thoughts about how you would run a program that he'd seen put into action before.
That was his first 5-star recruit, was keeping Cadillac on the rock. I mean, that does so much for recruiting with him. That really does help having former players there, and the way they got, like Ronnie Brewer for the basketball team. We have him up there, and it's just big. It's big time to have former players there with that success, and I think it really does help recruiting.
Got a couple guys on hold here. Let's take the call. Cody is up first. Hey, Cody, how you doing on this Wednesday?
Hey, man, blessed as always. Hope you guys are as well.
What's up, Cody?
Feeling good today, Cody. Go for it.
Good. Hey, so Matty T, I went up to the old Arkansas-Missouri game, and guess who I ran into? I ran into one of your old colleagues. Maybe, I don't know if he's your boss or what. I don't think he's your boss.
We were just co-workers.
Right.
Yeah.
You run everything.
That's
right?
exactly
That
right. I saw your message on the YouTube chat there. Yeah, you ran into the old David Basley. What's he been up to lately?
He's got nothing going on.
He's got a lot of free time, I guess.
He was there with a pretty lady named Jessica, and they were hanging out eating.
I wonder if he's popped the question to her yet.
At a place called Truman's in Columbia. It was about the only place open. It was later in the day on Thanksgiving. Anyway, so I didn't know that Village People, they're one of your favorite bands, and you decided that was your strong suit.
I was just performing. It was for charity, and I'll take one
You're
for
getting
the team,
all the
as they
good
say.
background info here on
I do
like
believe,
it. Get in the dirt.
I do believe that video lives on YouTube still and could be
It
found
does.
if you do search hard enough.
And if anyone's listening and curious, it's 103.7 The Buzz, and it's a karaoke, and they'll show you the videos. But anyway.
Thanks, Cody. I appreciate that.
Hey, no, dude, no, I'm saying this in all honesty. A lot of people wouldn't have the courage to do that, but not only did you do it, you killed it. It was smooth. So
Wow.
Just more respect. The legend grows.
Wow. Appreciate that, Cody.
I mean that.
All right, debuting next week on Halftime, Matty T sings for a full hour.
Dude, y'all could do. You guys are huge. Is it Al Yankovic? What's the guy's name that you guys are big fans of?
Yeah, his name's
Call him Weird Al.
Mr.
You don't need to worry
Yankovic.
about his last
Weird Al.
name. Yeah, sir, for you.
I feel like y'all would be smooth with that. But hey, and then Matt Jones could do some kind of jam band. I feel like he could cover something like that. Maybe John Butler trio, something like that. But what I was wondering, or I was thinking about, and I haven't gotten to speak to y'all about it. So you remember the Gus Malzahn situation in Auburn? Arkansas tries to lure him away. He uses us to get more money with his agent. Goes up, start getting paid this, at the time, outrageous amount of money in a lot of people's eyes, which is now market relevant, I understand. Lane Kiffin turns down the Auburn job. Hugh Freeze gets it. So a lot of the players that Lane Kiffin's going to go after, Hugh Freeze is going to get because it's a bigger program at Auburn. I think Lane Kiffin shot himself in the foot by not taking the Auburn job in this situation. For the first time, I think he should have taken that job as opposed to leaving too early or maybe making a mistake. Secondly, he's gotten his pay up. It's higher now. He's not going to inherit another Matt Corral. And we've all seen this year. I thought their dart was going to be okay. He didn't pan out in the passing game. What I'm worried about is if Kiffin has another mediocre season like he did at the latter part of this year, is it another Gus Malzahn situation when you peel back the layers and think about it? But that's all I wanted to talk about. Hope you guys are having a good day, and I appreciate your show.
Cody, it's good to hear from you. And we'll take the phone call from Charlie. We do have Alyssa Orange coming up in the next segment. Charlie, you're usually the first caller here in the second hour. You're a little bit late today. How you doing?
I mean, Cody's done turned you guys into a band, so I was trying to hear Maddie. I know you got your solo, you guy there, Maddie, who can sing.
We could use a manager.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I mean, Cody, I guess, can be the agent. I mean, is Matt playing the drums? Phil, what are you doing?
Well,
Guitar,
that's part of the problem. I think we have 3 singers here and no managers and nobody that can play any instruments.
Okay, so we got 3 singers. Oh man, I don't know if I can manage this band. I may have to find
3 DJs. Come check out my set.
Just call us another version of the Beastie Boys. We are that cool.
Okay. All right, that'll work. Well, I'm actually was Jackson Dart. I was thinking, was he a freshman last year?
He transferred in. I don't think he's a freshman. No.
Okay, I didn't know what he was. I was just wondering. I think they got to give him another year to develop that passing game. You know, the thing with Lane, like I think a lot of it, Lane kind of beats to his own drum, and people were reporting this and that, and I don't know. Would he have taken the job if that not all? I don't know. Sure, they offered him. He's built, Ole Miss up. I can't remember, guys. Before he got there, obviously, there was somebody after Hugh Freeze, right? Before Lane, was there somebody after Hugh, or am I thinking wrong?
I don't know who else. Well, Matt Luke.
Okay.
There was like an offensive lineman or something. Yeah.
Matt Luke. Remember, he lost his job because who was that receiver for Ole Miss that took the dog pee in the end zone in the Egg Bowl? Pretty much lost that one for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think Luke's. I think Lane has done fine there. I think I don't see him Ole Miss doesn't. Matt, I don't know if you agree. Like, do they have the standard that Auburn fans have? I mean, as long as they're kind of 9-3, 10-2ish, I think they finished 8-4. Yeah, they kind of were down at the end of the year.
Ole Miss was always they were always softer than Auburn. Auburn you knew was going to hit you. Ole Miss is just a little more pretty boy, frat boy style. Ole Miss always kind of like that.
Charlie, let me tell you what I think Ole Miss is. It's like we had Chuck Barrett on yesterday, and he referred to, in previous iteration, Hugh Freeze as Gus Light. I think Ole Miss is Auburn Light. Like, they talked about the Auburn man and all that kind of stuff.
That makes sense.
Prettiest little village and all that kind. I mean, really, they wear the same khakis that Ole Miss wears. It's the same place, just a different school, different colors. I think it's the same thing.
Well, and I'll say this about the league in general. Like, I think as far as coaching goes, we got some of the best. If you think about it from top to bottom, each school, even Vanderbilt winning 2 SEC games this year, who would have thought? I wouldn't say that the SEC's down per se. Alabama went 10-2, but you could argue the other way. The SEC, as far as from top to bottom this year, even if you're playing a team that may not have the highest record in conference, you're going to get challenged, especially if you're on the road. So you could argue that the SEC was as deep this year that it has been in a long time. I don't know about you guys, but I did not see it South Carolina finishing 8-4. And that's just me. And I didn't see Missouri keeping up with Georgia either. So, this league has gotten better just from top to bottom. And I think it's more balanced in the middle. So it's just tough, man. I'm ready for 2024, though, when the pod thing comes out. Anyways, guys, I'll hang up and listen. I appreciate it. I know y'all got the great Alyssa coming up. Matt, I know you were a little bit scared yesterday. They scored later in the game. You would like to score earlier.
Man, that was some theater, wasn't it, man? It's going to be fun Saturday.
I didn't actually get to see it because I was at work, but I saw the highlights. I was a little, when I was watching, I went back and kind of watched some of it, but yeah.
You going to get to watch
nervous.
Saturday?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Saturday. Yes, sir. I'll be watching.
All right, man.
Good to hear from you, Charlie. All right, thank you very much. I think maybe one way to describe what that experience was like watching the game, certainly in the last 20 minutes, it was a rather clenchy last 20 minutes of the World Cup match yesterday.
The Penguins is coming around.
Yes. Yeah, they got to call themselves the Penguins, not the Pittsburgh hockey team. Brought to you by CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. They are up right now for best burger, best French fries, best cheap eats in all of Northwest Arkansas. The Best of Northwest Arkansas awards being voted on now through December the 9th. You can vote on any device. So go to votebestnwa.com. Vote for CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers for best burger, best French fries, best cheap eats anywhere in Northwest Arkansas. Alyssa Orange joining halftime after the break.
Matt and Maddie T are so lucky. They get Fish City Grill brought to them every week. Some guys have all the luck.
Always hot and fresh, too, Phil. The shrimp and grits are so delicious.
I'm a big fan of their oyster nachos. It's such a...
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely.
Well, I snuck to a window to leave her a note. Will you come meet me at the back of the grove? All the trees were in bloom, that sweet smell in the air. We were trembling together. We were young, we were scared, yeah.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And we are joined by noted Dutch football fan Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation, who told us that she was going to be picking Netherlands to root for because they were orange, and for obvious reasons. That's her last name. So, Alyssa, here we are again. It's just like the same thing I asked you about last week, you know, when Arkansas plays against Florida State and anything. How do you handle that? So how are you going to handle, you know, your country playing against your favorite national football team?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I just got off the phone with Matt Zimmerman a while ago because I was listening to the Razorback Daily, and he was talking about how the USA team is going to whip the Dutch in the Netherlands, and that it's...
Oh, we lost Alyssa. You
She
could tell
dropped
she was...
through there she's back.
She's back. All right, we lost you for a moment there, Alyssa. Yeah, you were telling us how Zim was breaking down soccer, which I got to hear that.
and he said that the U.S. was going to kick the Netherlands and the Dutch, and that I, as Dutch royalty, jokingly, was very offended. But I am an American, so I guess I have to root for the U.S. But it's kind of like a win-win.
It's going to be
Sort
fun.
of.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. The Netherlands are really good. If you are you going to watch it on Saturday?
I hope so. I hope so. It's about, what is it, a 9 a.m.?
Yeah, it's early in the morning. Have your cup of
game time,
coffee.
right?
Yeah.
So I can watch some soccer and coffee before the basketball game Saturday.
Yeah, so because there's a basketball game too, of course. So we'll move into that with you here. Now I don't. Maybe Devo plays Saturday. Maybe he doesn't. But I want. We think that Arkansas, they need him. I mean, I think they do. I think that his minutes will be fewer than we've seen in previous years, if and when he does return. But I don't think there's any doubt Arkansas needs him because he's somebody that has succeeded in the NCAA tournament with this program before, come up with huge shots, defends really well, and I don't know. It just feels like for this team to get where they want to be, it's not that Devo is the featured guy, but they need him. So what do they look without him? What do you think happens without a Devo Davis for the time being?
Well, he's a glue guy, so you got to replace that, right? Like, he is that guy that kind of brings everything together. And Muss mentioned it. You mentioned minutes, and I didn't realize this until Muss said it after that press conference, but Devo has played the 9th most minutes in the league. And that's a lot that you don't think about in the middle of a game. And so you got to have someone who comes out there who can kind of be that glue guy, who has that experience, because all of these guys, these young guys, they have talent, but you kind of need a field general down there. And Anthony Black can develop into that, but he's still young. But Kamani Johnson can bring that, I think, because between the two of them, they have the experience, they have the knowledge, they understand that, hey, if I got to come in here, regardless of how many minutes I play, they need to be valuable. And so I can see Kamani Johnson coming in and kind of stepping up there where Devo was. Now, he's not the shooter that Devo is either. And so you lose a little bit of that offense, but you've added Nick Smith Jr. back, so you hope now in that second game back he does find a basket and is able to kind of take some more shots, play a little bit more than the 6 minutes we saw against Troy. But it's going to be tough without Devo, because Devo has a heart and a drive that you can't teach, and you can't just pull out of thin air. And so hopefully Arkansas can figure out ways to plug that hole temporarily while Devo's out.
Who I always thought he was our best on-ball defender. Is maybe Jordan Walsh our best on-ball? I know he's kind of a big, but who kind of steps up to play that defensive role that he plays?
Yeah, well, I mean, Matt, think about it. Yeah, absolutely. Jordan Walsh is the big defensive guy, but the thing that Jordan Walsh is still learning is how to play defense without fouling.
Right.
And so you want Jordan to be able to play, but, man, you can't have 3-4 fouls and then you got to bench him and let someone else come in there. He's got to be able to play better defense without fouling. And he obviously can. I think that comes with inexperience. But you're right. He can play really good defense. I think Anthony Black obviously can play some really good defense too. But they're going to definitely miss out on that for sure.
What do you think of the emotional state of the team? And I only ask because, the Creighton game, there was a lot of they were quite demonstrative, and in some cases for good reason. The San Diego State thing, not just the game, but what happened afterwards. The situation with Devo. This is the. It's a lot. It's a lot happening in like less than a week. It's a lot that went down, and I think we just lost Alyssa as well, because I don't hear her on the other end, but she'll call back in a moment here. But where I'm getting at here. It's like this is a lot of emotion packed into a 1 week period, or I mean, when Devo, let's just say that the announcement of him taking time away, that was a week from when they started in the Maui Invitational, and the Creighton game emotional, San Diego State game incredibly emotional. And now I just can't imagine that, one of the guys that, the third year guy who's played more basketball for this team than anybody else. It's just, It just feels like that's a lot of emotion packed into about a handful of days. What do you make of all that?
I think so. And I think that this is a very emotionally driven team because of the way they play. And of any teams we've seen from Eric Musselman, this team might be the most indicative of how Eric Musselman's emotions are. They're a fiery bunch. They like to go up and down the court. They like to be showy. They like to have fun. They like to be chippy and aggressive sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. They play with a little bit of an emotion and a swagger. It's the guys that they've recruited to bring in here that play with that swagger. It's that swagger that led to the drive, and we saw them come back from a 13-point deficit against San Diego State. But you're going to have to get those emotions in check in some games and realize, opponent to opponent, what's the approach today? How do we go in and get this game? Because you might play a team like Tennessee and you walk onto the court and Tennessee will punch back if you're not careful. And so you just have to be smart. I love swagger. I love confidence, but you got to be smart about it. And, this might be an Arkansas team. I've talked about this with some people, that might be the villain of the SEC, might be one of the villains of, NCAA college basketball. And that's okay. To play with that tag, it's almost sometimes fun, but you got to be smart about how you play and the swagger at which you come onto the field with.
Yeah, I like the way we play. I like the way Coach got them going on. With this football team and the transfer portal coming up, what do you think their bowl goes? What bowl do you think they go to? But what is going to be our biggest need in this transfer portal?
Yeah, so bowl game first. I'm hearing Liberty Bowl is a little bit of a front runner. That I've heard the Texas Bowl might make a good push. They might have made a bigger push had they won against Missouri. But Memphis is looking like it might shape up to be the destination for the Hogs. And maybe they play a team like Baylor in the Liberty Bowl, which I think could be exciting and kind of fun and challenging for this Arkansas team. Or even an Oklahoma team, which could be fun also. If basketball is just done, beating them in Tulsa, then the football team beats them in a bowl. Kind of exciting.
And some more phone issues.
Yeah,
there,
I was going to say
Alyssa.
I agree with Alyssa that playing Baylor, because it would seem like we probably recruit a lot of the same players, and so I think that would be and I know you're saying Oklahoma too, Phil, but I think both of those schools we probably recruit a lot of the same players.
I just think right now you might as well just book your hotels. And again, I'm not telling you with any inside information other than that I know it's been reported too that the Liberty Bowl officials have been at more Arkansas games than any other bowl game officials. So I think the Liberty Bowl is targeting Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want them. And I honestly don't know if the Razorback football team right now has the wherewithal to choose where they want to go at 6-6. I think they're going to end up being told by the SEC, this is where you're going, and I think it's Memphis.
I think by winning Missouri, maybe then you could have got that choice, maybe going to Vegas or going somewhere else. But I think being 6-6, I think you're right.
That's right. You just don't get those options at 6-6. I just don't think you do.
Did we get Alyssa?
I don't think she ever. I tried to talk to her, and she's not responding when I'm trying to speak.
She's still got problems.
I think
with
she
the
can't
phone.
hear us.
All right, that's all right. Well, we'll get Alyssa on next week. We're right up by the end of it, and by then we can start talking some smack about.
We'll know.
USA
Yeah, we'll know who won.
trouncing the Netherlands.
That's right.
Which would qualify as an upset, wouldn't it, Matt?
All day, every day, the Dutch should win. Yes, sir.
9 a.m. on Saturday. Crack open yourself an ice-cold lark for the soccer match. Full Spectrum Seltzer brought to you by Washita Farms. Saturday morning's a great time for it. A buzz with no booze. Lark is infused with a perfect balance of hemp-derived THC and CBD. Tastes like strawberry, guava, mango, grapefruit, berry, and free of all the bad stuff. No sugar, no carbs, no calories, no alcohol. And Lark is available at any local adult beverage store. You can also have it shipped to your doorstep, and to do that, visit larkhemp.com. Phone lines are open in the next segment, 877-377-6963 to get on halftime, and we're coming right back.
The new Lotto game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is creating new traditions for our players, like Vic from Texarkana.
For Lotto, I always play multiples of 7. It ain't math. That's just how many times I've been kicked by a horse. How's that lucky, you say? Well, I'm still here, ain't I?
Your numbers, your game. Play Lotto every Wednesday and Saturday for your chance to match 6 and get rich. Only $2 per play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Lucky number 7.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Bush. Light beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch & Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Arts Barbecue and Burgers wants to help feed your family this holiday season. Have the pros at Arts smoke or deep fry your turkey or smoke your ham. Arts has affordable packages available for any size family or crowd. Or drop your turkey or ham off and Arts will take it from there. Arts Barbecue and Burgers. Much more than their famous barbecue and burgers during the holiday season. From turkey to desserts, Arts Barbecue and Burgers. Next to Buddy's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
Peace of mind in buying a quality and well-maintained vehicle is top priority at Carco Auto Sales. Carco Auto Sales has been serving the River Valley and eastern Oklahoma for over 40 years and offers a variety of late model, low-mileage vehicles at unbeatable values. Come see the team at 2810 Midland Boulevard today or give them a call at 783-1722. You can check them out online at buyfromcarco.com. Carco Auto Sales. When you're ready.
High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service is all about God, family, and our country, and they proudly display the red, white, and blue. At High-Tech, they specialize in truck and trailer repair, service, and are certified in refrigeration repair. And every day, give thanks to those who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for folks like you and me. High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service, located in Van Buren at 6410 Alma Highway or at 479-474-2220.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Your husband is pretty handy to have around. He makes the world's best mac and cheese. He's in the Tickle Monster Hall of Fame. And he can teach anyone how to throw strikes. But a busted pipe in a basement full of water?
Honey, I think we need a plumber.
Is a little out of his league. That's where a homeowner's policy from Shelter Insurance comes in handy. We'll help get your house back in order and your husband back to what he does best.
Ask Shelter Insurance agents Ted McAvoy in Greenwood or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about a free insurance review.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
All right, I got to add a quarterback to my list here. We had a caller who didn't want to go on the air on the last segment, but wanted to remind us that Bart Starr also was a head coach. Not in college. He coached the Green Bay Packers for, looks like 9 seasons. Of course, he did win a couple of Super Bowls with the Packers as well. Didn't look like he was a great head coach. 1 winning season, couple of 500 years, 52-76 record. Which I don't think, chances are, I don't think he ever made the playoffs as the Packers head coach. 1 year and that was the strike year. If you make the playoffs once in 9 years as the Green Bay Packers head coach, I don't care if you're the greatest quarterback in their franchise history up to that point. You probably would have been like being Bart Starr might have kept him as the head coach for an extra 3 or 4 years, because you don't see 9 seasons really throughout the Packers' history in a row where they made the playoffs once.
That was
so we'll put Stars on the list with Doug Williams and now Trent Dilfer.
It's like Magic Johnson when he coached the Lakers. Because Magic Johnson is one of the best to do it, and so that's why it's hard. It's like one of the players was saying, Magic would be like, "Hey, can you do this? Like, do it like this." And he's like, "I can't do that. I'm not as good as you are." Because he sees the game. He's like, "You're not able to make this pass right here. I can make this pass in my sleep." And the player's like, "No, I can't. I'm not good enough to do that."
I think Magic's tenure as the head coach of the Lakers lasted what? Like
17 games or 36?
I thought it was like 13, 14 games.
Yeah.
Not very long at all. I'm trying to remember.
Larry Bird was okay at coaching.
Larry Bird was a good coach.
Like as a player,
he won a Coach of the Year award
with those
the
Pacer teams. Yeah, it helps when you have good players too.
Did they make it to the finals one year with
Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose? I don't know. I mean, if I want to say Philly might have beat them. Did they make I don't think they might have made a finals. With Rick Smits, they might have, and the Lakers just washed them. I bet it wasn't even close. But Jalen Rose, he's one of my favorite players all time, and so I remember watching those games. Yeah,
I remember Bird stepped down as the head coach. I don't think he was fired or anything. I think he was still doing well. He just didn't want to coach anymore.
But then then
he took over and ran the team. He might still be.
Right. Phil Jackson, Pat Riley are role players, and they're considered the best coaches, you would say, in NBA basketball, as far as I know there's a lot of great coaches, Popovich and stuff, but when I'm just saying how it translates, a lot of times the better players are like, "Can't you do this? Can't you see the game how I see the game?"
And I'm trying to remember like great baseball players that have turned into great managers, and there really aren't a lot of Hall of Fame players that went on to be successful managers. I mean, Pete Rose
was Don Mattingly
a great manager.
Did he manage?
Well, Mattingly has managed. He managed the Dodgers and managed the Marlins most recently. The Blue Jays just hired him as their bench coach. But Mattingly's not a Hall of Famer yet. He's on the ballot for whatever the era is that they call it, the more contemporary era. Mattingly's on the ballot with, I think, Fred McGriff and Bonds and Clemens and Palmeiro. No Mark McGwire, though. And no Sammy Sosa, if I remember correctly, on that list of players that are eligible and may actually make it into the Hall of Fame. Clay gave me a text. Yogi Berra. Yogi managed the Mets. I think he managed the Astros. He might have managed the Yankees briefly too. I don't know if he had a lot of success as a manager though, but he did manage. I mean, he managed 3 teams.
Is Mattingly one of those guys that if he didn't play for the Yankees, he wouldn't be considered for the Hall of Fame, or is he a Hall of Fame player? Like some people say, well, he played for. I don't know if it's Derek Jeter, if he would have went to Baltimore, or if he would have went to Kansas City, that he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer. But he played it for so long for the Yankees, which I disagree. I think Derek Jeter's a Hall of Famer, but does Mattingly have a little bit of that?
Well, Mattingly's problem was that he had too short of a career. His back was just kind of gave out on him, I think, and that's the reason that he retired. I think he was 32 or 33. I mean, he was as pure
307 average, man.
Yeah, he had a fantastic career. He had an MVP. Never played in a World Series though, and that stands out amongst like all-time Yankee greats, which. Yeah. Really, you probably got to be in the Hall of Fame to be listed as one of the all-time Yankee greats. But he was he was Mr. Yankee for the years that he played there. And I think they made the playoffs his last year, and that was 95.
95.
Which coincides with the next year Jeter comes up as a rookie.
And they
95
win it.
For the Yankees ended with Ken Griffey Jr. running all the way from first base in the wild card game, which was the first American League wild card game too, if I remember correctly.
That's like Tiki Barber. I mean, the Giants win it the year he retires, and so they win it the next. I mean, that's just wild.
Yeah, that's one of the things about Mattingly that's just so different. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he's still beloved in New York. He never managed the Yankees. He managed teams, I mean, really a rival of them across the country with the Dodgers. And he went over there with Torrey, because I guess it was expected at some point he'd be the Yankee manager. But not a Hall of Famer. And it'd be interesting to see what he does as a bench coach with the Toronto Blue Jays. But yeah, I mean that's going to come up. I guess the voting for this for this Veterans Committee sort of thing is coming up sometime in the next couple of weeks. And this is like the last best opportunity for Bonds, for Clemens, for Palmeiro, and Mattingly too, to get into the Hall of Fame. And also McGriff, who's got an interesting case, because like McGriff was so close to 500 home runs but didn't quite get there. But he's got as good of a case. Somebody compared his numbers to Willie Stargell, who was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and yet McGriff wasn't able to crack, the Hall of Fame in 15 tries, and now finally gets this last opportunity. 877-377-6963. Go ahead,
Phil,
Matt.
we had a message and a call saying, don't forget about Dusty Baker.
Well, Dusty Baker, we talked about this all during the summer. Not a Hall of Fame player, all-star caliber player, and spectacular manager. So he's had, I think, one of the most interesting careers as far as managers are concerned. But I don't think he had the Hall of Fame career as a player.
Now, to win a batting title, has things changed? Do you still have to bat over 300? And Mattingly had a 307. I think that's pretty cool. I think that has to be one of the hardest things to do that's maybe going away, where now, quarterbacks, you see the stats going the other way where you got to throw for 5,000 yards, where are there a lot of guys now that can hit 300 or that will?
Well, fewer than before, Matt.
Right?
Fewer than before,
yeah.
I think there's only been 1 year where a batting champion has just barely hit over 300.
So they're still getting over 300, yeah.
But it's not as much as before, because it's more about the home runs. People don't care about batting average as much, for good reason, too. Well, you look at the other numbers. On-base percentage will mean a little more. Slugging percentage will mean a little more. Bat average gets factored into both of them.
So your walks
Mattingly could have played in any era, though. I think he could have played in any era.
Yeah, your walks don't go with your batting average, so I agree with you there. Your on-base percentage would be what I would look at more, too.
Well, and he had a good on-base percentage, but he never struck out. And I remember reading stories of Mattingly, who was left-handed all the way, threw left-handed, batted left-handed, that he would sometimes, during infield, take ground balls at shortstop, left-handed, and he was as smooth as butter doing it over at shortstop. When you watch a lefty take ground balls at any place that's not first base, it's usually a little bit of an ugly situation, but he could do it.
He's one of those guys we talked about yesterday when you just say he's a ball player, right? Like you're picking him first, yeah.
That's exactly right. All right, we're moving into the third hour in just a moment and wrapping up hour number 2 after this.
Here comes Johnny singing Goldie's Goldie. You Bobby Lula, baby, what I say. Here comes Johnny singing I got a woman down in the tunnel trying to make it pay. He got the action, he got the motion. Oh yeah, the boy can play. Dedication, devotion, turning all the nighttime into the day. Do the song about a sweet love and more. They do the song about the night. They do the walk. Do the walk all night. Yeah, they do the walk all night.
State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot, now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands, with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC, no problem.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Have you recently experienced possible hail damage to your roof? Is it just time to replace the one you currently have? Brothers Roofing and Restoration is a properly licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Brother Alexander has over 25 years of experience in home insurance and adjusting and residential roofing. Brothers Roofing Crew has 17 years of experience themselves. He provides free estimates with the most competitive pricing in the area while using the industry's best materials. So call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother to inspect your roof.
Champion Cycling, located at 5500 Massard Road, is a locally owned bike shop in Fort Smith that wants to help you find the joy in cycling that has been a part of their family for years. Their goal is to find the right bike for you, whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure. Champion Cycling is totally stocked and has a large selection of bikes, including brands from Specialized, Pivot, and Look. Whether it's fixing a flat tire or a basic tune-up, their dependable service department is always ready to help. Stop by Champion Cycling today at 5500 Massard Road, and they will help you find your joy in cycling.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
I was reminded every measure, riding trade winds, buried treasure. I got on fine with modern living, but must I be such a citizen? And the world still so wild, cold to me. I was lost, I've been kept on my knees.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, Monday night at the Elson household, we had the Arkansas-Troy men's basketball game on the big screen TV. And the kids grudgingly, sat around and watched it with me while they messed around on their phones and iPads and all that kind of stuff. And then after the game was over, we put on a fantastic Christmas movie. Now that it's after Thanksgiving, and we can kind of get into that sort of spirit.
And we're not getting into the debate on whether or not this
is not a debate.
Christmas movie.
It's not a debate. I'm just saying it is. It is what it is, and we watched Die Hard, and the kids enjoyed it. They loved it. Who wouldn't? Such an entertaining movie.
Classic.
So what did they request last night, along with their Frito chili pies for dinner? Yeah, you do want to come over for dinner every once in a while here. They asked for Die Hard 2. Maddie made a point during a commercial break recently that I could have told them that there's no real reason to watch the second one. Just move on to number 3.
Yeah. They tried to remake just tried to remake the first one with the second one.
Right, with the Christmas theme attached to it. And nobody ever argues about whether Die Hard 2 is a Christmas movie, even though it takes place at the same time. So that just means tonight is Die Hard 3.
Tonight's the best night.
And that makes tonight the best night. That's absolutely right.
And to me, this is the best Die Hard movie. There's 5 total. To me, this is the best one. You can't have it without the original, but this is the one that I will rewatch anytime it's on television.
I need to watch it. That's the one that I haven't seen start to finish. I've just seen that one scene. Yeah.
I would say the language in this one, they're all the originals R-rated, but this one I would say it's a pretty hard R as far as the language goes.
Well, my daughter definitely has the famous line from the first one that you're waiting for. When is he going to say yippee-ki-yay? And the second one, she's got that stuck in her mind for a moment. So I guess you can have all of your opinions about my style of parenting.
And so now to jump forward a little bit, if they do hope that there's more after this and they want to see the fourth one, the fourth one's not terrible. The problem they made is they made it PG-13. So really to enjoy it, you need to seek out the unrated because he says yippee-ki-yay, and as he's about to say the word, the explosion happens, and it never happens, and it takes so much away from it when they try to cut out all the language.
Talk about an icon. Wasn't he? Bruce Willis was 80s cinema, right? 80s, 90s? Was that?
80s and 90s, and in the year, the last decade, too.
He was a TV star first.
I didn't know that.
Moonlighting, yeah. Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd.
An action star? Come on, this is going to be ridiculous.
Well, that's why one of the better what's that series on Netflix? The Movies That Made Us.
Yep, it's a great.
That's
series.
where you learn about the casting for Die Hard and why we look at Bruce Willis as some great action hero. They didn't necessarily view him as that then because he was more of the fingers manicured kind of an actor.
Yeah, it was more like a Sly Stone, huh? He was kind of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, weren't they? The man's man type, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Yeah.
Oh, Van Damme. That's we're gonna have to talk some Van Damme movies at some point once we get Halftime Homework back, but you're thinking about bringing it back. All right, we're into the third hour of Halftime in just a moment. Calls and texts coming in at 877-377-6963. You've got just enough time to make a sandwich during the break. See if you can pull that off.
At Alliance Motors, they pride themselves on listening to the needs of their customers. Everything they do is designed to make your car buying experience as easy and enjoyable as possible. Visit them in Greenwood, 1305 West Center today. They realize you have a choice when buying your next vehicle, and their desire is to ensure you have the best car buying experience. At Alliance Motors, customer satisfaction is their highest priority. Visit them today and see for yourself the difference. Or visit them online at alliance-motors.com. Alliance-motors.com. Alliance Motors Greenwood.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Barling, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Have a loan with a variable to balloon rate? That might be a problem if it's due to reprice soon. Let Farm Credit fix your problem with a long-term fixed interest rate loan. Farm Credit's terms are the longest in the ag industry, ensuring you'll have peace of mind for years to come. At Farm Credit, you have nothing to lose. When rates begin to drop, you can easily readjust your rate again with no refinancing application, no new appraisals, no new title work. We make it simple. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Equal housing lender.
With everyday low prices on top brands, as well as our popular Ace Rewards card, locally owned Yeager's Hardware is committed to offering real service with real savings. Get these great deals at any of our 4 locations with your Ace Rewards card. DeWalt 20-volt max drill kit with bonus drill bit set, only $139. And Rayovac 30-pack double or AAA batteries are only $8.99. Yeager's Ace Hardware is your place for solo stoves, Traeger grills, and the Big Green Egg. Yeager's, offering real service with real savings.
United Hail Pros is your one-stop shop auto body repair shop, specializing in paintless dent repair. Locally owned and operated, zero out-of-pocket with free car rental from Enterprise, with a lifetime warranty. Got hail damage? Don't delay. Call United Hail Pros yesterday. 479-309-3998. That's 479-309-3998.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny and cooler. Our high this afternoon in the mid to upper 40s. We will see clear to partly cloudy skies tonight. And overnight low will drop down upper 20s to low 30s. Thursday, partly to mostly sunny sky. Our high right around 50 degrees. And could see some wet weather as we head through Friday. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Here we go. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Well, this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! On 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, Drew
Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Halftime into our third hour here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Still don't see any more players that have announced that they are opting out or headed into the draft or in the transfer portal for today. I do see that there is a quarterback out of Baylor, Kyron Drones, who Arkansas did have an offer in for. He's putting himself in the transfer portal. So that might be a place to look. But we do know Ricky Stromberg is headed into the NFL, or at least the NFL draft. Eric Thomas announced he's into the portal yesterday. Defensive end, special teams player. Kyrie Johnson, backup defensive back into the portal. Reed Bauer, punter, into the portal as a graduate transfer. And it's interesting. You look at the careers of Ricky Stromberg and Reed Bauer. Stromberg came here as a very undersized offensive lineman what was it, like 285 pounds, I think, when he came to Arkansas the first time, and his weight really fluctuated. I remember him talking about this in high school. He was well over 300 pounds for a while, to the point where he needed to lose the weight, lost a lot of weight, signs on to play at Arkansas with Chad Morris as the head coach. They don't want the big offensive lineman then. And well, he put on enough weight to play for Sam Pittman, and is moving on to the NFL.
He's a Sunday guy. Yeah, you'd love to see that. You love to see players develop and feel. One of the funniest, and I say funniest, one of the strangest things was being at Jacksonville, and Tony Baselli was the first one to go in the Ring of Honor, and you wouldn't have even guessed that he was a left tackle in the NFL. He had probably lost 100 pounds when he got done playing.
I've thought that when I see Jeff Saturday on the sidelines now, and I mean he's been on TV, so you've seen him these last few years. But you look at that guy and you're like, wait a minute, he played center for all those years. He looks like he's lost a lot more than 100 pounds.
If you, I think I told you this story, but when we went to Firehouse and those offensive linemen, they would go in and get a foot-long sub, and then they would get up and go back and get another foot-long sub. It's just like it was nothing. The amount of food they got to eat.
Just stuck into their heads. There's nothing. You got to eat because you're always expending energy.
Yeah. Oh, they'd lose 9 pounds at practice. Yeah. It's like you gotta. They're animals, man. It's it's tough. It's tough work.
Did you have to do anything specific to keep your weight up at a certain level, playing at Arkansas and at Jacksonville?
At Arkansas, we didn't have a weight. I didn't have any issues or anything. In Jacksonville now, the contract is so $100 per pound per day that you're over your allotted weight, and mine was 220.
Fine, you got fined.
Yes, sir. Mine was 220, and I always. But you had a like a 5 pound grace period. So if as long as I kept it under 225. I was fine, and I've played about 218, so it was. I couldn't put on weight. You're running, man. I run every day. You're just sprinting and run. I mean, every single day you're running. It's just you can't. It's like you said, just the nature of it.
There are only a small handful of people that I know that wouldn't say one of their more enjoyable things to do is to eat.
Oh my goodness!
There are some people I know that say I eat. I eat to live, not live to eat. And then about 95% of the population goes the other way around. Now, I'd imagine if you're a football player, you better like to eat. You probably do.
Love eating. I mean, it's like making a meal out of it. If you feast once a day, kind of nibble all day, but then you got to have a feast once a day for sure.
So do you still have any of that metabolism? Because you've kept the shape of your body, Matt. You don't have the bowling ball in the middle like some other guys do at the age of 40.
It's a blessing and a curse, but 6'6", it's I kind of get away with it, I guess, a little bit. But I've never been a soda pop drinker or a fry. Like I've always. But my parents they raised us. There was a pot of beans and rice on that's what we were eating all the time. And vegetables. It was parents had a garden and stuff, so we were kind of healthy.
French fries are a weakness, man, and I'm not the only person that feels like that. They are a major weakness. Tim in Greenwood sent in a good text here, 877-377-6963. He says, going to bowl. Go ahead.
I was going to say French fries. Speaking of that, I agree with you. We went to Taco Tuesday yesterday, and I had ordered a big plate of French fries with my tacos.
With your tacos, yeah. Tacos are a weakness. Put some fries with them. That's
fries are so. They're my. I mean, I can't go anywhere and not eat fries lately. I mean, it's some type of potato.
Well, I made fries for the kids a couple of nights ago, and I really just made them for myself. They just happened to be here. So Tim asks, he says, going to bowls consistently is cool, but I don't think there's going to be actual improvement until we have consistent winning records in conference. Now, this is a legitimate thing. This is a legit opinion, and here's the other question, too. Now, you only have 8 games. You're going to eventually move to 9. Matt, I want to ask your opinion. Is 4-4 a winning record, or is that, like you put it sometimes, comme ci, comme ça, which is not necessarily winning?
Well, in the SEC, if you're going 4-4 and winning your non-conference games, that's an 8-win season, right? Don't we have 4 non-conference games? I'm trying to look at the schedule.
That's what Arkansas did in 2021.
That's It's hard to win on the road. You got to think, Phil. You have goals and you have things that there's a list that are wrote up on going into each season, and winning your non-conference game is big. That's what Coach Nutt did really well at. I think we lost one non-conference game my 4 years there with Coach Nutt. So that getting beat to Liberty is what that has to be. And I meant to ask Chuck this when I guess we'll get him on next week or maybe even Clay, but. That has to be what the worst loss. I mean, it's a top 5 all-time loss in this program's history. I mean, that's pretty bad loss.
Well, let's see some of the others you could put it up with. Toledo at home.
The Jack Crow, the Citadel one. I put it up, but man, that was
take any number of non-conference losses under Chad Morris. Western Kentucky, North Texas. None of those were ranked. Maybe Toledo was. I don't remember. But here's part of the issue with that. That's the game that got Hugh Freeze his job at Auburn, I guess. Although really when you look at it, his 2 wins against Alabama is why he's the head coach at Auburn, and no other reason. I mean, you look at what he did at Liberty and blah, 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 and all of that. And this goes to your point maybe, or I guess your question, Tim, about sub-500 records in the SEC. Hugh Freeze had a losing SEC record as the head coach of Ole Miss. And he had a losing record against Alabama, but 2 wins is a lot more than most people can say they have against Nick Saban. But, I mean, what about 2 losses to Vanderbilt? Hugh Freeze lost twice to Vanderbilt while he was the head coach at Ole Miss.
Now, Jimmy Franklin might have been the guy there, and we all know I'm a big James Franklin fan. He's a heck of a ball coach, yeah. But, yeah, I get you. Losing to Vanderbilt, that's not good either.
He had no great records against any other SEC program. 3-2 against A&M, 3-2 against Mississippi State, 3-2 against Vanderbilt. A losing record against LSU, losing record against the Razorbacks. He was 2-3 against Auburn. I see 3-2 against Vanderbilt, and I'm like, all right, maybe that balances out 2-3 against Alabama a little bit. I don't know. There is something about Freeze at Auburn, and I'm not going to say firestorm that's created by him being hired, because I think there's enough time probably with what happened at Ole Miss that it's not like they hired him right off of the Ole Miss campus. But it is interesting. I mean, they've forced him to give up control of his social media accounts because of I think numerous instances where he's been less than intelligent about who he has sent messages to and the messages that he has sent at the same time. So, I mean, there is
at Liberty.
There is that
at
Liberty,
and
and at Ole Miss, and
so Auburn won't let him have. That's wild, but yeah.
Well, and also to claim that you wandered the desert for 4 years. He made $5 million at Liberty University, and I'm not sure I'm going to call that the wilderness. It was still making a heck of a lot of money. So I don't know. There is a little something to the idea that Louisville gave Bobby Petrino a second chance, really a third chance. It was a second chance for them at Louisville and a third chance overall after the indiscretions at Arkansas. And while initially it was a good hire for Louisville, it blew up in their face, literally blew up in their faces. There is something to this hiring of Hugh Freeze at Auburn where the same thing could happen.
I can't wait to watch and find out. Tune in. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening too, especially if Liberty, he still hadn't figured it out. If he's still tweeting stuff or still messaging stuff that he ain't supposed to be doing. So it'd be
He didn't leave Ole Miss. He didn't leave Ole Miss after a great season. In fact, they were actually fairly bad that last year that he coached in Oxford.
And don't you feel it's tough to get to a spot, and we talk about some of these players and coaches, but to leave, like Bumper Pool's a guy that left his position better than when he got there, carried it on, and these coaches get there, and how do they leave each place? Do they leave with setting your place on fire, or do they leave in a calm way? It's just weird how it all works out, but I think you're right that could, when he leaves Ole Miss, it could be a big mess. I mean, when he leaves Auburn, sorry.
Text down to the 479 says 4-4 in SEC, undefeated non-con every year would make him a happy fan. And it means you would be, 8-4 every year. And that was where you were last year. So I think we'd be pretty happy with that. Yeah, Liberty being ranked when they beat Arkansas and Fayetteville. I don't know if I'd put that top 5 losses, but I do. I mean, that was the high point of the season for Liberty. They haven't won a game since then.
Since 2000, yeah.
Well, I also wonder what that says about
it's a bad loss.
How Freeze did at Liberty this year. I mean,
and then that was it with them, right?
In the middle of the season,
Like Phil, didn't they lose the next week, and they ended up losing all the kind of their last 3 games?
They lost 3 in a row.
Yeah,
they lost 3 in a row. They got blown out by New Mexico State this last weekend. Who knows? Maybe at that point, Hugh Freeze was just much more interested in being the Auburn head coach than being the Liberty head coach. It wouldn't be the last guy or the first guy to, lay an egg in his last game for a team when he's moving on to something that's bigger and better with more money. But I do think that there are some reflections upon Hugh Freeze that, we're looking at him as some genius head coach. It's because he beat Alabama twice. That's the only reason why he's the head coach at Auburn. Hey, want to make sure that you are getting your Christmas shopping going, and we've got free bicycles that we're giving away at hitthatline.com. 2 really great bikes, Specialized Alley road bike and a Specialized 12-inch Rip Rock kids bike. These are from Champion Cycling in Fort Smith. You can enter at the Champion Cycling bike giveaway at hitthatline.com now through December 18th. You see the free bike link top of the page. Click it, leave the info, and it is as simple as that. Champion Cycling bike giveaway made possible by Champion Cycling in Fort Smith. Their inventory at championcycling.com or give them a visit at 5500 Massard Road in Fort Smith. We're getting into more college football with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio next on Halftime.
Lose my mind, honey, honey, yeah.
Do you like paying your rent or mortgage every month? Of course not. Thanks to real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell and Matt Fowler with USA Mortgage, we're giving away free rent or mortgage payments for a year up to $15,000. Now that's a good start to 2023. Go to hitthatline.com to enter the free rent or mortgage for a year sweepstakes now through December 12th. Complete contest rules are at hitthatline.com. Let us pay your rent or mortgage for a year courtesy of real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, Matt Fowler with USA Mortgage, and ESPN Arkansas.
This is Abby with Davis Floor Covering. Get your home or office looking its best for this football season with new flooring from Davis Floor Covering. Whether it's new carpet, hardwood flooring, ceramic, porcelain tile, or luxury vinyl planks, Davis Floor Covering can help you with all your flooring needs with brands such as Bow Floors and flooring supplies from Maupe. And let's get started on beautifying your office or home. We even do countertops. Be sure to check us out on Facebook. Davis Floor Covering with 3 locations to serve you: Fort Smith, Springdale, and Tahlequah. Call 452-4808.
Finding that missing shin guard, remembering whether it's a home or away game, getting the right kid to the right playing field on the right day. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. We work with independent agents who keep insurance simple so you can worry about more important things, like not being that fan.
Oh, come on, ref!
That's simple human sense.
Visit the Charles Osborne Agency in Greenwood or call them at 996-2129. At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
If you're particular about your lawn, when nothing else matters except those perfectly cut stripes, that is your defining moment when you know you want a Skag zero-turn mower. Simply the best, hands down. When no other mower will cut it, stop by Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma and pick out your new Skag zero-turn mower and be the envy of your neighborhood. Come by today to see the full lineup of Skag zero-turn mowers at Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma.
Hell is a big enough problem on its own. Good Thing Dent Source, LLC is on the job, specializing in auto hail repair from personal vehicles to large fleet. Dent Source, LLC makes customers smile, one vehicle at a time. High insurance deductible? No problem. Dent Source, LLC will pay your deductible. Need a loaner vehicle during repair? No problem. Dent Source, LLC has free loaner vehicles. Stop by 2820 South Zero Street, across from Play It Again Sports, or call 479-337-4443. That's 479-337-4443. Dent Source LLC. No problem.
Champion Cycling, located at 5500 Massard Road, is a locally owned bike shop in Fort Smith that wants to help you find the joy in cycling that has been a part of their family for years. Their goal is to find the right bike for you, whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure. Champion Cycling is totally stocked and has a large selection of bikes, including brands from Specialized, Pivot, and Look. Whether it's fixing a flat tire or a basic tune-up, their dependable service department is always ready to help. Stop by Champion Cycling today at 5500 Massard Road, and they will help you find your joy in cycling.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio joining us here on Halftime. And I made this point earlier in the show, Bill. You just don't see a lot of interim coaches who've not been a full-time head coach get the job very often, if ever. But then I see, Georgia Tech just did it. Georgia Tech hired Brent Key, who'd been their interim coach for the last 8 games after firing Jeff Collins as the head coach. I guess some people thought Deion Sanders would go to Georgia Tech. I don't know if I ever thought that would happen. But why do you think, Bill, that Auburn – do you think they ever really considered Cadillac Williams? Because I really don't think they did.
No. It's a fantastic story, and I think he deserves praise for keeping that locker room alive. You can lose a locker room easily. And I'm sure he'll be retained in some capacity, but no. That's not a move you make.
I think he was named associate head coach. I think it's real big for recruiting, Bill, that they kept him on. A former player.
Yeah.
You look at the basketball here, Ronnie Brewer on the basketball team, a former player. That they just have a different vibe when they go about it.
I think so, and he was a heck of a player. I remember him getting recruited. He actually was committed to Tennessee, and then Tuberville flipped him. And he was a 5-star, even though I don't think we had the star system, but he was a first-team All-American high school running back. Everybody on the planet wanted him, and he's done a good job. And, he may be a head coach someday, but now wasn't the time.
I was fortunate enough to play in the Senior Bowl with them, and Gruden was our coach, Bill, and they had the number 4 overall pick, and who didn't take a single rep in practice? That was Cadillac Williams. Yeah.
Perfect. Makes sense, yes. So, I mean, what do you think of the Hugh Freeze hire? I mean, Bill, look, I'm not saying he's not a good head coach. I'm not saying he didn't do good things at Ole Miss and win enough games at Liberty and everything, but he had a sub-500 record in the SEC at Ole Miss. I think they hired him because they didn't get Kiffin, and I think they hired him because he beat Alabama 2 times and for no other reason than that.
Well, I think that's right. I think there was a moment, I guess we were talking a couple of weeks ago, where I thought they might be in the lead for Kiffin, and that however it happened, I hear his family his kids just didn't want to move. And he's not married, obviously. But anyways, and he's got 900, he's got a lot more money now. I should say $9 million coming to him per year and an extension. But, yeah, I mean, and I think Hugh Freeze has got a good resume. You got to remember he took over an Ole Miss situation that was not in good shape. So some of that And those losses I would attribute to him having to dig out of a big mess. But he did that, and he did well there. And I think it's a good hire. I mean, if you're going to go into Opelika, Auburn, Alabama, and you're going to fight on one side Georgia and Alabama on your other side, you better have somebody who's done something and somebody who knows what that's about, and he does.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. What this I guess you got a game Friday, Utah, USC. They get to play early. TCU, Kansas State. Those are the two matchups, I guess, that Vegas thinks something weird could happen. What are your thoughts? You think USC, TCU both stay in the top four?
Obviously, USC loses, they're out. They're not going to get in, and I would assume Ohio State would jump in. But Caleb Williams is the best player in the country. That's cemented. Notre Dame game cemented that for me. He's the most talented quarterback, more than Stroud, more than Young, because he's got everything. He's athletic. He's 6'3", 225. He's got every arm slot pass. He's got all. I mean, he can throw like shortstops turning double plays if he has to, arm slot wise, and he can take over games. And they're not very good on defense. So I don't know. Utah beat them 43-42. It was a heck of a game. I don't think Southern Cal lose. I wouldn't bet much, but I don't think they lose. And then Kansas State is a handful, man. Physical, tough, well coached, and had a good lead on TCU the first time around. But I'm hearing that TCU can afford to lose.
It's just kind of how they lose, maybe. If I don't know what they do, but yeah. Does LSU have a shot against Georgia? Are they going to show up?
Let me say this: Brian Kelly, after that game, they're not going to have two bad games in a row. I don't think it matters. I don't think they play as poorly. I don't think they can beat Georgia, though. Georgia would have to be very flat. Missouri game, first quarter of the Georgia Tech game, for that to even have a prayer. There's just too much talent at Georgia.
It's interesting to look at what's happened in college football over these last, well, really, it's just the last 2 years. You know, for so long, you know, Alabama's been the dominant program in the Southeastern Conference. Ohio State in the Big Ten. Oklahoma in the Big 12. You know, and Ohio State and Alabama are having good seasons, maybe not to the levels that they expected or hoped for this year. Oklahoma obviously has a little bit of a hole to dig out of. But now, and I'm not saying TCU is the dominant program in the Big 12, but in a couple of years they might be, because Oklahoma's not going to be there any longer. But as far as the Big 10 and the SEC are concerned, 1 year you could look at as a fluke. 2 years is not a fluke. Georgia is the preeminent program in the SEC, and right now it's not even close. And Michigan beating Ohio State in the horseshoe for the first time in 22 years, it's obvious who's the preeminent program in the Big Ten, too. So these things have changed pretty dramatically in the last couple of years.
Yes, correct, but big brands changing, not somebody out of nowhere. Georgia's always been a national championship potential team. It's just either they were poorly coached or something went wrong. I mean, that team was it 2012 that was on the goal line to beat Alabama. That team would have won the national championship, didn't make the play there. So they've had tons of rosters that were good enough to do this. They've just got the right leadership in place now. And Michigan is a monstrosity of a brand. They just needed – it took Harbaugh 5 years, guys. I mean, he was 0 for 5, and they hung with him. Even though people were always calling the show saying Harbaugh needs to be fired, he can't – they never even considered that. That was not even a conversation they had, and it turns out their estimate was right. It took him longer, but and I'll tell you the other thing, guys. On Monday, I could have done just a show where Ohio State fans call in and scream because 11-1. I'm not kidding. This is true. 11-1 for them, considering the one is a failure. This year was not a success. They do not look at it. They do not look at it like, are you kidding me? 11-1, anybody would take. No, that is not accurate.
They're a little spoiled, aren't they, man? But it was,
correct.
Man, that was such a fun game. I mean, there's a lot of good games this year, but that Michigan-Ohio State was like a lesson in football 101. Run the ball, throw it over the top play. I mean, golly, it was just fun. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, it was. And there was a couple times, first quarter, part of the second quarter, I thought Michigan was wobbly. I thought that game could get away from them. And they just kept hanging in there, wouldn't go down on the campus, and then, of course, outscored them 28-3 second half.
Bill, you realize we're like making it through possibly an entire SEC football season with one coaching vacancy, and it's already been filled at Auburn. We've had such, I mean, the drama the last 3-4, usually the drama every offseason. It's going to be pretty quiet as far as that's concerned. I mean, you have some assistant coaches and coordinators that change up, but as far as like the SEC coaching carousel is concerned, it's kind of over for right now in the head coaching sense.
Yeah, but Sunday, Monday, you get a stampede, which is the carousel of the transfer portal, and that'll take any space you had for coaching rumors, that'll take place for sure.
So let me ask about a couple of guys that have signed on to coach in the Big Ten West. I guess Luke Fickell. I don't know if he's signed the contract yet with Wisconsin, but all the talk is there that it's going to happen. Matt Rule is the new head coach at Nebraska, and that Big Ten West is like ripe for the picking. And Nebraska might have had some rough bumps along the way, but it's still a brand specifically. And Rule has built up two programs before that were bottom of the barrel before he got there. And Wisconsin's not terrible. So, I mean, what do you think of those two hires and why Luke Fickell chooses this job to get into the Big Ten?
Fantastic fits, both of them. I did not think Matt Rule would take a job this year, but he's a fantastic fit to return that culture, which has been lost for decades. But let's go to Fickell. Luke wanted the Notre Dame job. He's an Ohio guy. There's only two jobs he wants, Notre Dame and Ohio State. He's already had the Ohio State job, and it was an interim thing, and it was a bad experience because they were coming off the Jim Tressel mess. Anyways, and so that kind of hurt him, even though it shouldn't have. And he's done a fantastic job at Cincinnati. So, again, Notre Dame or Ohio State. Well, he's not going to get either one of those. And he's done all he can do at Cincinnati. He's the first coach to get somebody non-P5 into the playoffs. You can't do any better. And Cincinnati's a good gig, but he's maxed that out. Wisconsin is a program that's slightly down in a division that you accurately described as absolutely wide open. Wisconsin should be the premier brand in that division, or Iowa. And I believe he thinks he can go in there and take that over. And culturally, he is exactly what Wisconsin needs. That tough guy, big offensive lineman. You're not going to out-athlete Ohio State or Michigan. Just pound the rock, man. And he's very good. He's excellent. Tell you what he also is, not that he matters, he's probably the best heavyweight wrestler in the history of the state of Ohio. He was that good.
Wow.
And he started as a defensive lineman as a true freshman. This is
you should have taken the Iowa job. They love their wrestling there.
Correct. I'm telling this guy I don't think he ever lost a match his entire high school or college career. It's just ridiculous. But my point is it describes his mentality and his ethic when it comes to football. And that's exactly what and Wisconsin isn't like Nebraska. They haven't lost their culture. They just are not as good as they need to be. So he doesn't really need to fix a culture. Matt Rule's got to fix the culture. He just needs to improve the personnel and start winning again.
Yeah. Bird's eye perspective before we let you go on the season Arkansas had. A couple weeks ago, you'd said the season was wrecked by the loss to Liberty, and I think when you look at the body of work in the last month, losses in 3 out of the last 4 games where the coach is talking about getting physically whipped and out-physicaled in each of those 3 losses. It was not the way anybody expected the end of the season to go down. So from the national perspective, I mean, what is it that Arkansas needs to do to get back to 8 wins, or just to beat Missouri, for crying out loud?
Okay. What day was it? Early this week, whichever day. I went through the P5 and simply went pass or fail. There's no what ifs. You either pass or you fail. By the way, Ohio State got to fail at 11-1, but amazing. Now that's a tough grade, but the Arkansas failed. There's no gray area there. It's a failure. The season was a failure from what was expected and what they could have been 8-4, but they're not. And That's a failure.
That Liberty loss was a bad loss, man.
Correct. I don't know if there's a magic elixir that, if we turn this knob here and turn this spigot on here, we fix it. I just think stay the course. I don't know that there's any one thing that's just so probably not as good defensively as we hoped. Obviously, the secondary had been a problem. And here's the other thing. Even though I give them a failure, I think a part of this is just a testament to how nasty the SEC West is, and Hugh Freeze coming in doesn't make it easier, guys. It makes it harder. It's going to get worse.
Well, and you're supposed to have one of the premier quarterbacks in the SEC. 6-6 is tough, and I think KJ will be back. And I'm with you. Do you make a lot of changes? Do the people know each other? Hopefully they'll get. I think we were bad situationally. Like it was like an arcade. Like we could move the ball in the 20s, but when it got down to it, situationally got down to it, we just couldn't make enough plays.
No question, guys. So I don't think if we're having the same conversation next year, then I think. We probably the tone changes a little bit, but
I hope we're having a whole different conversation in about 12 months. But we'll see.
We'll
see. I know we'll talk again on Wednesday next week, Bill, and always appreciate that. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio, joining us on Halftime here.
Like to get the not local opinion, to see what they really think about Arkansas, because we get to see what in state, and we don't get to hear a lot of outsiders. So I always like talking to Bill.
I do like hearing about the crying Ohio State fans with one loss. Crying Ohio State fans. Give me the world's largest, smallest violin, pretty please.
11-1. All the success Ohio State, they're spoiled rotten, aren't they?
Go cry in your nasty chili, pretty please. 877-377-6963 on Halftime. You were in Cincinnati before, man. I wonder if you had that Skyline goop. They call it chili. It ain't chili. It's goop. Halftime back after this.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, and football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. State sales tax paid on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot now through the end of the month at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. You heard right. State sales tax paid on pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson. You'll save hundreds, even thousands with sales tax paid. This sale does not apply to previously negotiated deals. Don't miss your chance to get your state sales tax paid now through the end of the month on every pre-owned vehicle on the lot. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 at Fort Smith.
Metal Mart offers high-quality, prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shops, carports, and more. They strive to be the company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials you need to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford, with locations in Fort Smith, Mayflower, Jonesboro, and Little Rock, or catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit rileyfarmdental.com.
United Hail Pros is your one-stop shop auto body repair shop, specializing in paintless dent repair. Locally owned and operated, 0 out of pocket with free car rental from Enterprise with a lifetime warranty. Got hail damage? Don't delay. Call United Hail Pros yesterday. 479-309-3998. That's 479-309-3998.
Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to help feed your family this holiday season. Have the pros at Art's smoke or deep fry your turkey or smoke your ham. Art's has affordable packages available for any size family or crowd. Or drop your turkey or ham off and Art's will take it from there. Art's Barbecue and Burgers, much more than their famous barbecue and burgers during the holiday season. From turkey to desserts, Art's Barbecue and Burgers, next to Buddy's on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith.
A pre-owned vehicle that won't break the bank? Good luck in this market.
But wait, Joe knows good deals. Joe can get you in a pre-owned truck starting at only $299 a month. And all our vehicles are backed by the Crane Commitment, including a 100-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Joe knows how to give you more for your trade and save your hard-earned cash. The best deals are right here in Fort Smith at the Crane Used Car Supercenters. U.S. Highway 71 in Fort Smith. WCC Dealer details.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
If we can't get along, we ought to be apart. And I'm wondering where'd you get that cold, cold heart? Set me free, sign my release. I'm tired of being a villain of the piece. You've been giving me bad times, tell me what I do. How come I always get a hard time, honey, when it comes to you?
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Ooh, we just had a rather weird moment in this World Cup match that Matt Jones is watching. I got Saudi Arabia, Mexico on my TV here in my makeshift studio. Which one do you have on in studio
Group
right
C,
now?
we got the Argentina-Poland feel, and Group C's wide open. Everybody kind of control it. Anybody can still advance is what I'm saying.
This Mexico-Saudi Arabia game is physical. Anybody that doesn't like soccer and points out to the idea that it's not a physical game or that they're just a bunch of Nancy boys playing around, my gosh, this is an awfully physical game with the only padding or for your shins. That's it. And of course, there's a lot of ankle kicking and shin kicking that's going around. But man, I mean, the awkward way that they land going head to head, I'm blown away. Watching these athletes is what they are. Now you can have an opinion, I think, about the excitement of it, and that's a legitimate opinion. I happen to think that watching these guys move on the field the way that they do and create on the fly the way that they do is really entertaining to watch. The other thing I like about it, Matt, is that it does fit into a nice, neat television window. Doesn't take that long to watch
90 minutes.
Entire soccer
Yeah,
match.
it's not like
90 minutes. You get your halftime, maybe some stoppage time. I mean, you get that thing done in 2 hours.
Running clock. That's what. Yeah, exactly. And it is some drama. I think the more you watch it, the more you'll like it. And the passion. The World Cup is in the Euros. That's kind of how I got into it and seeing the countries. It reminds me a lot of SEC football, like the way the Arkansas fans are, the way the LSU fans are. You get to see the different nationalities, which is pretty neat as well.
Hey, did you ever send, you got Christmas coming up. Did you ever send a letter to Santa Claus?
When I was younger, yeah. Yeah, when I was a child.
It's nothing I ever did. My father was Santa
Dominique
Claus.
Dawes, I sent a letter to. You remember her now?
I was more of
the gymnast, yeah.
I was also like Dominique Mucciano. They were part of the same team.
I forget how old I was, but I remember wanting to ask my mom, I want to write a letter to her. Yeah.
Wait a minute now. I'm going to do away with this whole Santa Claus thing here. You wrote a letter to Dominique Dawes. I remember her. I forget the year that she was on the Olympic.
Yeah, I was like 8 or 10 or something. Yeah.
What did the letter say?
Oh, it's a George Strait song, right? Like, do you like me? Check yes or no.
You realize in this day and age, like you could have. Now we have famous people that go to the prom with somebody that sends them a post or a TikTok, explaining the passionate love that you might have for him, or just say it in a non-creepy way. I could have seen 6'6" Matt Jones going to the prom with, and I'm just assuming Dominique Dawes was small because most gymnasts are. They maybe a foot and a half shorter than you, Matt. That would have been quite the
she's 5'2". Phil.
Did she write back?
Oh, I don't even know if it got put in the mail, but that was my mom. When you're doing your Santa, I was like, I want to write a letter to her.
What's she doing now?
Opening fan mail for Matt Jones. Never got sent. You got fan mail before.
I got asked to go to prom when I was older, and I couldn't do. It just felt weird, like I was like a junior or senior at Arkansas, and it was kind of like that. Like somebody wrote, they wanted me to go to prom, and I was just like, I don't. You're 17, I don't know. It just felt weird, I couldn't do it.
Well, there are certain laws that are written too that sort of try to prevent those sort of things from happening. So it might have been a good idea to just open the letter, say that's nice, and I'll move on. You I'm sure you had football cards sent to you and things like that, trying to ask for autographs and stuff. But I do like the idea of Matt Jones sending in a letter to one of our most popular gymnasts. Again, I don't know what it said, but it must have been awfully sweet.
George Strait song for sure.
Yeah, George Strait song. Anyway, so there's this kids send letters to Santa Claus in the mail, and apparently the U.S. Postal Service is looking for volunteer Santas to answer these letters from kids.
Oh, how could this possibly go wrong?
This could never go wrong at all.
Sign me up.
You could turn this into a segment. How do you ruin a kid's Christmas? I mean, just picture Bad Santa getting a hold of one of these letters and mailing something back with some choice words thrown in there too. Maybe a cigarette butt or 4. Matt Jones, you got no letter back from Dominique Dawes. But what if her mom would have grabbed the letter that you sent and sent one back saying, "Stay away from my daughter, you punk." That's what you might have. Maybe you get from some of these Santa Claus volunteers.
Dominique Dawes, though, she is about 6 years older than us. So it's you were just a kid compared to her. She would have been like, "Oh, what a cute little kid sending me."
Is Bad Santa the best Christmas movie?
It's a good one.
Is that what we were talking about? Yeah, I was speaking of.
It goes in a specific category of Christmas movie. Yeah. Like Krampus is in that same category.
Like I wouldn't put like Jingle All the Way and Bad Santa in the same category. Bad Santa's in the Krampus category.
He steals his nativity calendar and eats all his chocolate, and then he brings him the orange juice, and he's like, "Is there any vodka in it?" No, you're wasting this orange juice then.
Well, for those of you who are looking to have a little extra, maybe devious fun during the holidays, you got to register at the U.S. Postal Service website, and you can be a volunteer to reply to letters in character as Santa Claus. So you get to sit there, put yourself in the Santa Claus mindset, figure out what his or her handwriting looked like, and then, send them something asking for milk and cookies to come in the mail. Just make them smile or ruin the holiday for them at the same time.
They get the letter back and it smells like whiskey. Tobacco smoke.
Yeah, some of us call that cologne. Others call it a drink. We're going to wrap halftime up after this.
It started way back in 3rd grade. I used to sit beside Emmy Lou Hayes, a pink dress, a matching bow in her ponytail. She kissed me on the school bus, but told me not to tell. Next day I chased her around the playground, across the monkey bars to the merry-go-round. And Emmy Lou got caught passing me a note. Before the teacher took it, I read what she wrote. Do you love me? Do you want to be my friend? And if you do, well, check yes or no.
Who's hungry, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. And this month, I'm serving up heaping helpings of deals on Rath road-ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. So right now, you could save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car, based on the price of the car you choose. It's our feast of savings, and these deals are all gravy, so if you're sick of your old ride, toss it like yesterday's leftovers. Come in today, and you could save up to $4,500. Keeping the car you have? Get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with a free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. So pull up a chair at my feast of savings, and you could save up to $4,500 on a nicer, newer car. But hurry, a deal this hot will cool down fast. Only in Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Flu season is here, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has flu shots available now to safely care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store still has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 to schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Watch every hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, Tin Layer Dip, Brisket Nachos, and Mexican Pizza. And ask about Joe's Tailgate Packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Why do people do business with First Western? Because First Western builds relationships with all of their customers. They partner for the long haul to help you with your financial goals over all seasons of life. First Western is prompt, responsive, and they deliver with quick answers and on-time loan closings. When is the last time your banker called you? If you are looking for a high level of service and a financial partner who will listen and respond, try First Western. For more information, visit them online at firstwestern.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you an experienced concrete finisher? Do you want to make the highest salary in the area? Do you want to get paid bonuses for your good work? Then Forsgren is for you. Apply now from any device, anytime, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. GoForsgren.com. Apply now at GoForsgren.com. Are you an experienced dump truck driver? Do you want to make the highest salary in the area? Do you want to get paid bonuses for your good work? Then Forsgren is for you. Apply now from any device, anytime, anywhere at GoForsgren.com. GoForsgren.com. Apply now at GoForsgren.com.
Champion Cycling, located at 5500 Massard Road, is a locally owned bike shop in Fort Smith that wants to help you find the joy in cycling that has been a part of their family for years. Their goal is to find the right bike for you, whether it's a road bike, mountain bike, or just a bike for leisure. Champion Cycling is totally stocked and has a large selection of bikes, including brands from Specialized, Pivot, and Look. Whether it's fixing a flat tire or a basic tune-up, their dependable service department is always ready to help. Stop by Champion Cycling today at 5500 Massard Road, and they will help you find your joy in cycling.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Down in the workshop, all the elves were making toys for the good Gentile girls and the good Gentile boys. When the boss busted in, nearly scared him half to death. Had a rifle in his hands and cheap whiskey on his breath. From his beard to his boots, he was covered with ammo, like a big fat drunk, disgruntled Yuletide Rambo. And he smiled as he said, with a twinkle in his eye, Merry Christmas to all, now you're all gonna die. The night Santa went crazy. The night Saint Nick went insane. Realized he'd been getting the raw deal. Something finally must have snapped in his brain.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Let's empty out some of the text here as we wrap up halftime. First, got to remind you about the Bet Saracen app. I know you want to put a little money down on your favorite sporting event, so have Bet Saracen on your phone. You can get it on Apple, you can get it on Google, or use BetSaracen.com on any web browser. And as long as you're inside the borders of the great state of Arkansas, you can put the money down at BetSaracen.com or the Bet Saracen app. You look at the Vegas odds, you got to be in Vegas to bet those odds legally. Arkansas law prevents any of the other big national apps from operating in our state. So, for accurate, up-to-date sports wagering info, be on the Bet Saracen app. Okay, JR liked us talking about penguin waddles earlier in the show. It's a team. It's a hockey team. It's a sort of Arctic bird, and it's an uncomfortable way to walk in certain moments, too. Let's see. Yeah, we were aware, Aaron, about the all the Arkansas State ties to Auburn. So now I guess I could say, is Ole Miss really Auburn light, or is Arkansas State Auburn light? Probably more Ole Miss. I don't know if I'm going to tie Jonesboro. Jonesboro is actually a lot larger than Auburn is. Maybe not as nice, would be the way to put it. Kirsten Van Buren, 8 Crazy Nights. Great movie, but is it a Christmas or Hanukkah movie?
I think it's both.
Well, I'm going to have to just defer to Maddie on this one because
a holiday movie, right?
That's the animated Adam Sandler movie with lots of original songs in it. It's really funny.
Adam's funny. I like some of the stuff he does.
I will admit that I haven't seen that movie, so we don't necessarily I don't know other Hanukkah movies. I mean, I'm someone that celebrates Hanukkah, but I go to a Christmas Story just like everyone else.
Yeah, it's Seth Rogen. He's got the Hanukkah sweater on.
The night before.
Yeah, the night before Christmas.
So, my fiance, she started early watching the Hallmark Christmas movies. They even do them during the summertime, but they've started throwing in a Hanukkah-themed Hallmark Christmas movie. I think last year, Boy Meets World guy was in one of them.
Fred Savage?
Or Ben Foster. Or not Ben Foster. Ben Savage.
Ben Savage. There we go.
Very nice.
Ben Foster, though. I like some Ben Foster.
They're throwing a kosher bone into the movie mix a little bit. Very, very nice. Jesse in Mountain Home texted in. So, Matt, there is you brought up the Michigan-Ohio State game and how entertaining it was. What about one of the more mind-blowing plays of the year? The linebacker converted to a running back who threw a pass for a first down, a jump pass too. And that was one of the more amazing plays of the year. When you think about a linebacker turned running back converting for first down on a jump pass.
That's pretty cool. I think about that. Our punter that just transferred, he has one of those plays, one of the best fakes.
Yeah, that was, remember, like
4 years ago?
Lake Kern made it was last year.
It
was last year in Alabama. Yeah. Yeah, Reed Bauer executed the fake punt to Blake Kern, but he threw it behind him a little bit.
Yeah, it was the best of throws.
Great catch.
Yes.
Christmas Story 2 didn't disappoint. Yeah, I hear there's the new Christmas Story with the same actors and everything.
Yeah, I couldn't make it all the way through it.
What's the new movie that's coming out that says it's like Die Hard, the Christmas movie?
Is that what the guy with Stranger Things guy?
It's starring the guy from Stranger Things.
It's not John. I thought it was John Hamm the first thing, but he has it says Die Hard to meet Home Alone with the bowling ball coming in his face. Yeah.
I just need to go watch Home Alone again and watch the spider go in Daniel Stern's face. Nothing was ever quite like that. All right, for Matt Jones, for Matt Travis, I'm Phil Elson. We'll see you tomorrow. Get up, get out, get better.